Chapter 234. Sis, step back, I'll do it. Chapter 234. Sis, step back, I'll do it. Long Fei was not afraid of anything. However, he did not want to bring unnecessary trouble to Xiao Dai. That was why he had threatened them. Everyone present was shocked by him. Fear arose in his heart. A person who could attract the wolves and not die, who even dared to kill people, such a person was better left alone. The wolves are surrounded. What should we do now? Xiao Dai asked. She no longer felt like she was looking at the dumbstruck along anymore. It felt very special. Furthermore, she felt that Long Fei's aura was extremely strong. The others also looked at Long Fei. Long Fei looked at the corpse on the ground, then dragged Shirtong and the wolf pack, and said in a low voice, "Without my orders, no one can move a muscle, understand?" The idea moved. View true chi value, 480 points. The highly toxic tracking consumed 5 points of true chi per second. This way, it would deplete its true chi value in less than 2 minutes. Whoosh! Long Fei let out a light breath, walked to a place 3 meters away from a wolf, and lightly said, "Hungry, right? As I said earlier, I've prepared some food for you. Come and eat." Finished. Long Fei threw Shirtong's body forward at the feet of the demon wolf. Immediately, the wolves released low growls. This was not because they were angry, nor was it because they were venting their anger. It was because they were hungry to the point that they couldn't endure it. Long Fei had discovered this from the very beginning. Not just these wolves. Many demon beasts were like this. Moreover, they were all very savage, and many disciples would definitely die in this assessment. The martial arts training was just that cruel. Most of the people who died on the way didn't even have a corpse. Roar! The demon wolves that were initially surrounding them quickly pounced on them and rushed toward Shirtong's body, crazily biting and tearing at it. The intensity of the bite was so intense that only a few demon wolves stared at Long Fei and the others. "Along, let's run," Xiao Dai whispered. This was the best time to run. If he didn't run now, he wouldn't be able to escape. Thin Monkey's legs were already itching to run out. After all, they were facing a pack of wolves. Long Fei grinned. Suddenly, his footsteps rushed forward, directly towards the place where the wolves were the most concentrated. The idea moved and said, the alchemist released his Q skill. Long Fei's body released a poisonous miasma. Immediately, these demon wolves were quickly poisoned, damage continuously rising from their heads. What is he doing? Are you crazy? Is he crazy or a fool? What was he doing in a pack of wolves? You're courting death. Are you guys running? If you don't run, will I run? Everyone's faces turned serious. They were all shocked by Long Fei's actions. Thin Monkey had already run out. Xiao Dai also ran, but she was charging towards Long Fei. The big-sized man was startled. He grinded his teeth and followed Xiao Dai. Only the couple was left in a daze. They didn't move, neither did they run, nor did they move. "Awoo! Awoo!" the demonic wolf roared, and the poisoned demonic wolf started to attack Long Fei. Long Fei's mouth carried a cold smile and said, "You dregs want to injure me? Do you even know who I am?" His steps were agile. Every part of him cleverly avoided the attacks of the demon wolves. These steps were the movements from his previous world's games. Long Fei had also been practicing slowly during this period, especially since he spent the entire night practicing. More than 10 demon wolves pounced over, but he didn't even have a single hair on his body. However, the consumption of true chi value was too fast. Just using highly toxic tracking S was not enough to kill these demon wolves. The value of the true chi was too low. "Along, I'm here." Xiao Dai quickly rushed forward. The big-sized guy also said naively, Big brother along, I'm here too. Long Fei's face became anxious. What are you guys doing here? Didn't I tell you to stay put? When they came to Long Fei, they were actually a little worried. Moreover, would highly toxic tracking hurt them? Long Fei himself was not confident either, but in that instant, he immediately deactivated his skill. He took the chance and jumped out, directly blocking Xiao Dai, and said, "Sis, quickly retreat. I'll do it." At this moment, a demonic wolf pounced forward, pouncing towards Long Fei's back. The big bloke, seeing the situation, did not care too much and went to block it. He let out a furious roar. Ah! Shwa! The demon wolf drew 3 bloody lines on the big guy's chest, which were so deep that their bones could be seen. Long Fei was shocked. His heart moved. The figure of the King Kong, Li Yuanba, appeared in his mind once again. Long Fei was slightly angered. He took out his sky sword and stabbed forward. Awoo! The demon wolf died. Ding! Congratulations to player. Long Fei for killing level 1 demonic wolf. Congratulations player. Long Fei for killing level 1 demonic wolf. Another demon wolf pounced forward. Xiao Dai reacted quickly and also thrusted out his sword. After severely injuring the demon wolf, Long Fei took the opportunity to kill it in one move. The 3 of them stood in a line. Long Fei looked at the big-sized man and asked, "Can you hold on?" The big guy smiled innocently and said, "No problem. I'm just thick-skinned." Long Fei said, "All right, I'll lure the monsters. You guys take the chance to make a move. Remember to immediately retreat after your move. Do you understand that you can't fight for too long?" Long Fei said quickly. The big-sized man and Xiao Dai both nodded at the same time. And, all right, attack. What is Long Fei? Professional player. He was also a master tactician. Chapter 22:35. The Onlooker. Chapter 22:35. The Onlooker on a Barren Hillside. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. A hearty laugh rang out. Gui Qingshan basically would not laugh like that. Miao Chong was also a cold and murderous person. He would not laugh like that. But amongst the 2 people in the room, there was a large wine jar placed beside one of them. The 2 of them were Gui Qingshan and Miao Chong. Was he here to kill someone? Were they here to have fun? General, is the princess all right? Miao Chong asked. Gui Qingshan nodded. It's been 16 years. The baby that came out of the wilderness has already grown up. She doesn't know her own past yet. Finished. Gui Qingshan picked up the jar of wine and gulped it down, a hint of loneliness in his eyes. Miao Chong also sighed lightly and said, "It's good that you don't know, but the current Zhao family is no longer the Zhao family from 10 years ago. Zhao Chongshan's current cultivation is probably already at the true martial peak realm. In a few years, he might be able to become the true martial emperor. It's better not to let her know about this. It's just adding to her own troubles." Miao Chong drank a mouthful of wine after he finished speaking. Peak of the genuine force. True martial emperor. Gui Qingshan secretly clenched his fists tightly and said solemnly, "There are some things that I have to do." After he finished speaking, he took another big gulp of the strong wine. The liquor burned in his throat and reached his stomach. It was as if he had swallowed a ball of fire, causing his entire body to feel parched and hot. Miao Chong looked at Gui Qingshan and said slightly, "Great General, so many years have passed. With our current strength, we are unable to defeat the Zhao family. The Zhao family, too big now." More than half of the cultivators in Zhaoguo's territory were controlled by the royal family. With the addition of the old demon Zhao Chongshan, his strength was unshakable. His other identity was an outer disciple of the gods tribe. You want to overthrow him? It was impossible. Gui Qingshan knew about this too, but some things had to be done, and some people had to be killed. Otherwise, it would be meaningless to be a person. Miao Chong changed the subject and asked, Great General, haven't you met any good seedlings these past few years? Gui Qingshan's gaze recovered slightly. He shook his head. It's difficult. There are countless sects in Zhaogui's territory. If any genius is discovered, they will be immediately recruited by the sect of Infinitas. There is no shortage of bull these days. Just 1,000 li of horses were missing. As long as you're a genius, once you're discovered, there'll be large sects fighting for you and nurturing you. Xian Yu's sect was only a middle-ranking sect. Recruiting some special genius disciples was simply too difficult, not to mention that he was just a small elder. Then, the image of Long Fei flashed across Gui Qingshan's mind, and he muttered, I wonder if he counts breaking through from the Escalate Body 2 stage to the 6th grade of body refinement in just one night. Others might not be able to tell, but Gui Qingshan was able to. Moreover, from the moment Long Fei came to this desolate hillside, he had been paying attention to him, including Long Fei killing Zhou Tian. He had seen it all. He had to say it. Long Fei was very special. Even after observing for so long, he still could not understand Long Fei. Huh. Miao Chong shook and said, Who has this kind of inherent skill? To break through 4 realms consecutively in one night? Gui Qingshan laughed and said, Your talent and potential are all low, and you are probably only at the refinement realm. When you reach the blood refinement realm, the qi refining realm will slow down, or even slow down. He had persisted on obtaining Long Fei's inherent skill before. It could be said, bad, pretty bad kind. Even if his body refining speed broke through a bit faster, it wouldn't be of any use. What he wanted was a super genius who had a chance to enter the Zhen Wu realm. Long Fei was obviously not the type of person he was looking for. Miao Chong could not help but sigh. All the cultivators in the world are controlled by the Zhao family. Even if they find out that some peerless genius, the Zhao family, is not obtained, they would not let anyone else have it. While they were talking, Miao Chong glanced at the ox stall outside and looked at the green ox. He could not help but ask, Great General, was it this cow that scared the 7th prince to the point he peed his pants? Regarding this matter, Gui Qingshan was also puzzled and said, This ox's blood vein is not simple, it's just that, no matter how strong the blood vein are, they will still not be a match for powerhouse of the elixir. I don't know what happened that day. Besides, this cow can talk now. Gui Qingshan had never been able to understand it. Was it because Qingniu was intelligent, or was it because of the pills refined by Long Fei? There was no way to explain it. Miao Chong was startled. You said human words? This, even a 9th grade spirit beast wouldn't be able to do that, right? What kind of blood vein is this? Gui Qingshan shook his head and said, I still haven't figured this out. Back then, when I was being hunted down, I was forced to put the princess in the cave, and when I returned to find the princess, I found out that this calf was being protected there. You didn't know about this at the time, but quite a few 7-rating monster and beasts died on the side. Miao Chong asked, 7-rating monster and beasts? No wonder it could intimidate the peak powerhouse of the elixir realm. The two of them chatted for a while. The alcohol in the wine jar also gradually decreased. The sun was about to set. Ha ha ha. No one would believe a weakling. If you failed the exam, you would be a weakling. With these demon wolf heads, they would be able to pass the examination, while Xiao Dai and the others would be eliminated. Xiao Dai said, I don't believe you. Without waiting for her to finish speaking, the youth's gaze became even colder and his killing intent grew even stronger. He didn't know why. Long Fei's reaction towards killing intent was exceptionally strong. The killing intent of the youth was completely felt by him. Killing intent. Immediately, Long Fei immediately said, "Hand over all the heads of the demon wolves to them." Xiao Dai was startled. "Along, what are you afraid of?" The big-sized man and the thin monkey were also stunned. This was something that they had risked their lives for, yet they were robbed just like that. They couldn't accept it. Moreover, what did these monster head mean? This meant that they had the qualifications to pass the examination. Without these monster head, they would definitely fail. To them, entering the Xian Yu sect was too important. Xiao Dai was also not willing to give up. She did not want to leave this place that she had lived in for more than 10 years, and she also did not want Long Fei to be chased out either. Long Fei's voice became heavy. "Leave it to them, listen to me. Hand it over." Long Fei shouted heavily. The big guy was not satisfied, but he still did as he was told and took out the demon wolf's head from the wooden signboard. The youth laughed complacently, looked at Long Fei, and said, "Brat, you're still the best. You have a good future. Ha ha ha." Long Fei was very clear about this in his heart. If Xiao Dai and the others did not hand over the monster head, the youth would kill them. He couldn't let Xiao Dai take this risk. Not long after, all 20-odd monster head were brought out. Long Fei slightly said, "We have already handed over the monster head. Can you let us go now?" The youth said, "Put it away." A few youngsters quickly came up and stored more than 20 monster head into the spatial wooden signboard. At this time, a youth said, "Brother, this girl is not bad." The teenager looked at Xiao Dai. That person continued, "In any case, they are destined to be eliminated. They won't be able to hold their own against all odds. So why don't we—" Ha ha! The corners of the youth's mouth curled into an evil smile. Many people also revealed an evil smile. At this time, Long Fei's eyes darkened and said coldly, "If I were you, I would have immediately left with these monster head." His eyes were ice cold and filled with a chilling intent. The young man looked at Long Fei and laughed coldly with disdain. "It's a pity that you're not me, and that you'll never become me, understand? Trash." As soon as he finished, the youth walked towards Xiao Dai, laughed lewdly, and said, "Beauty, let this brother have a good time. Perhaps this brother will be happy and bring you along to enter the Xian Yu sect tomorrow." At this moment, Long Fei's figure moved. Shua! Suddenly he moved. The sword on his neck drew a shallow line of blood on his neck. He didn't care at all. "Big brother, be careful." At this time, Long Fei had already rushed in front of him. The young man's eyes turned sinister. He struck his palm towards Long Fei's head and shouted, "You're courting death." However, without waiting for his palm to fall, the sky sword in Long Fei's hand moved, piercing the heart. One-hit kill. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Wu San for obtaining 300 experience, 50 true chi points, and 1 mad god value. Pucci, Wu San glared at Long Fei as his body slowly fell to the ground. 5th grade refining body. 1 sword kill. Furthermore, that sword just now was incomparably sharp and astonishing. Wu Sen was not given any time to react at all. Everyone was taken aback. No one thought that Long Fei would suddenly make a move, and that he was trying to kill them. He didn't even blink when he killed. Cold. Resolve. It didn't match his age at all. The last time he killed Zhou Tian, Long Fei did not have any reaction. Killing people was like a very normal thing. This was not a game. People who died cannot be reborn in the spring. But he didn't react at all. It was as if he was used to it. Long Fei himself also felt that it was strange. He felt that he still had memories that had not awakened. None of them had ever seen a killing scene before. As they looked at Wu San, who was covered in blood, all of them trembled. Longface shouted in a serious tone, "Scram!" As if they had been granted amnesty, they scrambled to escape. Chapter 22:37. Eye of Insight. Chapter 22:37. Eye of Insight. In the blink of an eye, all of them had disappeared. The cold and gloomy aura on Longfei's body receded slightly, imperceptibly. The pressure he emitted also disappeared. Xiao Dai exhaled. His eyes stared straight at Longfei, a strange sensation in his heart. However, she liked it, because Along had become stronger. The big-sized man was excited too. Big brother Along, the sword attack just now was too cool. Thin Monkey also said, "One person scared away more than 20 people. Ha ha ha. Amazing, too amazing." The young couple was also extremely excited, as they said, "Mighty." Without waiting for him to speak, Xiao Dai slapped the back of his head and said, "Powerful my ass. What's the use of killing someone? When we told them to scram, we didn't even know how to make them leave their monster head behind. Idiots, idiots." Longface stared blankly for a moment, then patted his thigh and said, I forgot. I'll go chase him right away." After saying that, he turned around and was about to give chase. Xiao Dai pulled him back and said, "Forget it. Don't let anything happen to him." Actually, Longfei did not mind those demon beasts, as they could no longer be hunted. What he cared about was Xiao Dai. The big guy said, "It's such a pity with those demon beast heads. We can pass the test. What do we do now? Tomorrow morning is the end of the exam. We can't go hunting at night, right?" Thin Monkey looked up at the sky and sighed, saying, "Looks like there's no hope this year. The third time, I won't have the chance next year. I really have to go back to the mountain village and farm some land for my dad." The big guy also said, "My age is also here. This is my last exam. If I don't pass it, I'll have to learn pig slaughtering from my dad." The young couple did not say anything, but they just sighed. If they didn't pass the exam, then they would be disbanded by the families of both parties. To everyone here, entering the Xianyu sect was extremely important and could change their lives. But now, his hopes were dashed. They were going to fight back. Longfei looked at each and every one of them with a sour feeling in his heart and said, "Hunting tonight." Xiao Dai immediately said, "Are you crazy? The demon beast at night are much stronger than during the day." Night was the world of the demon beast. His eyesight was stronger than a human's. It was better to hide. A little. Compared to the power he had during the day, it was at least 10% stronger. In other words, during the day, he was a level 1 monster, but at night, he was much stronger. Hunting demon beast at night was extremely dangerous. Longfei said, "Believe me, I'll definitely be able to let all of you pass the examination." Thin Monkey said, "Brother Along, it's not that we don't believe in you. It's that we don't believe in ourselves. We can't even see that far with a torch in our hands. We can't take the pounce of any demon beast." He smiled helplessly. "Maybe I am the life of a pig, so I shouldn't have had such a dream like the martial arts training." The couple held hands even tighter. Xiao Dai also lowered his head. "Accept your fate." Longfei didn't know why, but the word resigned seemed to have angered him as he asked, "Why would you accept your fate? Our lives are in our own hands. Why should we accept our fate?" "What is fate? Why should I lower my head to it?" Regarding fate, Longfei felt an indescribable rage in his heart. "Hate," Longfei said in a heavy voice. "We are our own rulers. Our fates are not bound by any restrictions. We have to believe that my life is not under the heavens. Trust me, I can definitely bring you into the Xianyu sect." Longfei's eyes lit up. It was a firm and bright light, as if the sky sword beside him had felt the powerful domineering aura of I give up my life to the heavens. It also flickered with a bit of a bright light. The beam of light floated up slowly, like a spirit. Then, S eyes lit up. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Eye of Insight for a duration of 12 hours. As soon as he finished, Long Fei's eyes did not change, but his vision underwent a world-shaking change. What he was looking at right now was the same as it was during the daytime, and he was looking even further ahead. More importantly, his eyes could see through, even through the trees. The rocks could see what was behind them, what the F***K. Long Fei's heart suddenly became excited, his blood boiling. He was so happy that his heart felt like it was going to explode. I have a perspective, I have a perspective, ha ha ha. In his previous life, he had always dreamed of having two perspective eyes. Even in his dreams, he wanted to see if there was any girl next door who slept during the day and worked at night. Moreover, from time to time came the high-pitched noise of ee. Now, they finally had it. Long Fei's gaze turned slightly and slowly shifted to Xiao Dai's body. He swallowed hard. At this moment, in front of him, Xiao Dai was like naked. It is well-developed, fiery body. Gudong. Long Fei swallowed his saliva once again, a strong stimulating force surging inside his nose. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I'm about to have a nosebleed. Xiao Dai saw that Long Fei was abnormal and couldn't help but take a step forward and ask in concern, Along, what's wrong? Seeing Xiao Dai coming forward, Long Fei took a few steps back and said, I'm fine, I'm fine. The guilt in my heart suddenly rose. You beast, I gave you the Eye of Insight so that you could use it to kill Demon Beast, but you used it to look at girls and even saved you and take care of your girls. You are too beast. F***CK. If I don't look, then am I not inferior to beasts? Long Fei struggled in his heart. However, in order to calm himself down, Long Fei withdrew his Eye of Insight. If he continued to look through, he really would not be able to control himself. Wow. Eye of Insight. It can only last for 12 hours. If it can last forever, that would be great. Long Fei took a glance at the sky sword in his hand and thought in his heart, is this sword a BUG? The lucky value is full, and you can even release the Eye of Insight. F***CK. This is definitely a BUG. Xiao Dai was infected by Long Fei and said, no matter what, we have to give it our all. The big guy also said, we're going to throw caution to the wind. At worst, we can just go home and kill pigs. Thin Monkey and the young couple also stood up. Xianbei Mountain, the place that led to the deep mountains. Roar. An intense roar exploded in the darkness, causing the entire Xianbei Mountain to tremble. At the same time, another roar exploded and was even more powerful than the previous one. It was like a fight between gods. A huge, colorful lizard. The other was a mountain like chimpanzee. Countless bloody wounds appeared on the body of the chimpanzee. Several spots of blood gushed out as the chimpanzee continuously roared in anger. The colorful lizard whizzed over. The chimp madly rushed towards Xianbei Mountain. Chapter 2238. Great Skills versus Great Skills. Chapter 2238. Great Skills versus Great Skills. The two demon beast bellowed, covering an area of hundreds of kilometers. Xianbei Mountain was shaken. Those low-level demon beasts were so scared that they crawled on the ground and trembled. The night in the forest became more dangerous. What? He's gone. The seventh prince's eyes opened wide as he suddenly stood up and kicked the servant, cursing him. Useless trash. You can't even look at a single person. Bam. He kicked it away. He rolled around on the ground. feeling pain in his abdomen, but he didn't dare make any sound. He quickly kneeled on the ground and said, "Your Highness, give me some more time. I will definitely find him." He did not think that the mark that Shirtong would give would suddenly disappear. Moreover, he was currently not in a continuous state with Shirtong at all. "Humph!" Seventh Prince shouted. "Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and go." "Yes, sir." The man quickly retreated, then jumped into the darkness. At this time, an elder came out and said slightly, "Your Highness, just now, 2 demon beasts of level 7 and above roared, and are getting closer and closer to the Xianbei mountain. It is not good to stay here any longer. Let us quickly leave." He was an elder sent by Yi Changfeng to protect Zhao Yiqian. Forget about him. Even if there were 100 of him, he would still not be a match for the demon beast that roared just now. He didn't care. However, if something were to happen to the 7th prince, he wouldn't be able to bear the consequences. Another elder also said, "Your Highness, with your current results, you should be able to take first place. There's no need to compete for anything." Someone had already helped him hunt more than 400 demon beasts. Adding the 4-rating monster and beasts that was already prepared beforehand, the first one would definitely be him. No one could move. The 7th prince sneered. His gloomy eyes stared at the 2 elders, and he coldly said, "Do you know what I hate the most?" The 2 elders were stunned. The 7th prince coldly glared. "I hate it when people criticize and criticize in front of me. Command me? Who do you think you are? You have the right to order me to do what?" The 7th prince was extremely disdainful and also abnormally arrogant, looking down on everyone. The 2 elders' eyes darkened. "Your Highness, we are not commanding you. We are just not waiting for him to finish." Zhao Yiqian suddenly moved, stepped forward and slapped his face, then coldly shouted, "I do not need you to teach me how to act. Scram to the side." "Pa!" A resounding slap on the face. That elder's face was ashen, his fists clenched tightly as the anger in his heart surged. "Why? You don't like it?" Suddenly, 7th prince slapped him again. "Is it cool now?" The left slap, the right slap, the 5 finger marks on the sides of his face. He had never been humiliated like this before. Furthermore, he couldn't hit back yet. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Gritting his teeth, the other elder held on tightly, fearing that Zhang Xian would act impulsively. 7th prince loudly laughed. "Ha ha ha. Are you unhappy? Want to fight back? Come on, I'll stand here and give it a try." "Who is he?" 7th prince, the son the empress doted on the most. Arrogant and domineering. He didn't put anyone in his eyes and did whatever he wanted. Similarly, the power was in his hands. The elder slightly lowered his body and solemnly replied, "I would not dare." "Humph!" The 7th prince's smile faded as he shouted, "If you don't dare, then scram to the side. Trash!" The 2 elders retreated. The anger in their hearts soared to the heavens. If Zhao Yiqian wasn't the 7th prince, he would already be a corpse now. Sigh. "Elder Lei, bear with it." In the dense forest, the 6-man team swiftly advanced. However, after searching for more than 2 hours, they were unable to find any demon beast. In this 2 hours, they had already delved deeper and deeper into the Xianbei mountain. They were about to reach the gap between Xianbei mountain and him. "Tonight is very strange. Why are all the demon beasts gone?" Thin Monkey could not help but mutter. The big guy said, "Could it be related to those 2 back legs?" Xiao Dai said, "That's possible." She looked ahead and could not help but say, "Along, we can't move any further forward. We are going to enter the Xianyu mountain range. It's too dangerous inside." The young couple said, "The Xianbei mountain veins are one of the most dangerous mountain ranges within Zhao Guo's territory. I heard that there are those big demon beasts inside that are able to overturn the heavens and overturn the earth. The big bloke muttered, "Then what do? We don't have enough demon beast to pass the test." Long Fei released his X-ray vision and looked into the distance, only to find that there was not a single demon beast within 100-meter radius. The further they went, the more demon beast they lost. Very strange. They were about to reach the entrance of the Xianyu mountain range. Then it meant that he had truly stepped into the heart of the Xianyu mountain range, and the demon beast inside were not the level 1 secondary demon beast in the Xianbei mountain. The danger level increased by more than 10,000 times. Not to mention the cultivation base of the refinement realm, even the masters of the refinement realm didn't dare to recklessly enter. Long Fei pondered for a moment, then said, "Let's continue." Xiao Dai was slightly taken aback. The big guy smiled and said, "Great." Thin Monkey was a little worried. "Isn't it too dangerous?" He was more timid. Chapter 2239, Young Sect Master, Yurong. Chapter 2239, Young Sect Master, Yurong. Boom. A fierce collision. The world seemed to have collapsed. The area within 1,000 kilometers began to shake violently, like an earthquake. He couldn't even stand steadily. Many of the floors were directly split open by the shockwave. Xianyu sect, great clan elder, not good. A huge shock came from the Xianbei mountain. Xianbei mountain? Guanzhen was startled and immediately said, "This is the examination grounds of the Martial Hall. Why would there be such a huge commotion? Could it be an earthquake?" The disciple hurriedly replied, according to disciple's understanding, "I think. It seems to be two powerful demon beasts fighting each other." Great demon beast. How old? Guanzhen continued to ask. That disciple said, "It is currently impossible to speculate, but according to the news that the Elder Lei has sent back, he is probably level 7 or higher." What? Guanzhen's pupils suddenly shrank. Yi Chongfeng's expression also abruptly changed. Has the 7th prince come out yet? He was not worried about anything else. He was only concerned about Zhao Yiqian's safety. If anything happened to him, the Xianyu sect would suffer as well. As for the lives of the other several thousand disciples, it didn't matter if they died. The 7th prince couldn't afford to let anything happen to him. Yu Wanshan's face changed slightly and said with some dissatisfaction, "I suggest that this assessment is immediately cancelled and that all the disciples be withdrawn. If it causes too much casualties, how will we report it to their parents?" Wu Yi was also in favor of it. "Since they are here for the Xianyu sect's assessment, then we must be responsible for it. I also approve of canceling the assessment and evacuating quickly. A demon beast of level 7 and above, this was not a joke. Even the powerhouse of the Golden Protector level found it hard to resist. These disciples were all in the refinement realm, and the moment they got near, they would die in an instant. If several thousand disciples were to become Xianbei Mountain, how would they explain themselves to the world?" The disciple lightly said, "Elder Lei also advised 7th Prince to leave, but..." He did not continue. Yu Wanshan bellowed, "Speak, what is it?" The disciple glanced at Yi Chongfeng and continued, "The 7th Prince had given Elder Lei 2 tight slaps in public." What? This is too presumptuous. Yu Wanshan and Wu Yi were instantly enraged. Although the Xianyu sect is within the borders of Zhaogua, these sects are not under the jurisdiction of the authorities. Completely independent, Yu Wanshan said solemnly. "What does the Zhao family think of our Xianyu sect? He beat our clan elder in public. Is he still putting our Xianyu sect in his eyes? Too arrogant. If such a person were to become the disciple of our Xianyu sect, wouldn't he overturn the heavens?" Both of them said angrily. The seventh prince had not only slapped Elder Lei's face, he had also slapped his own face. Yi Changfeng was also very unhappy in his heart, but he did not express it out loud. He said lightly, "Calm down, elders, now is not the time to fuss about such matters, and I believe that seventh prince will not act against Elder Lei for no reason either. There must be something wrong with Elder Lei among them." Instead, he spoke to the seventh prince. One had to know that the Elder Lei was his direct disciple. The two elders were stunned. Guanzhun was also stunned. Rumble, rumble, rumble. After a few loud explosions, even the mystic moon hall began to tremble. At this moment, in the night sky outside of the palace, a white shadow descended from the sky, like a fairy descending from heaven. Boom! A loud sound echoed out. Its entire body was pitch black, and every feather was as sharp as steel. Its pair of large golden eyes flickered with a peculiar light. It was vicious and cold. Giant condor. On the back of the eagle stood a woman in a long white dress. The woman's expression was cold. The giant condor descended, bringing with it raging gales. The woman's body moved, landing in the great hall. Within the palace, the three great elders were startled. They all stepped forward and respectfully said, "Young sect master, Yi Yurong, the only daughter of the current sect master of Xianyu sect, Yi Luxian." It was also the princess consort that Zhao Chongshan had personally bestowed upon her not too long ago. But at this time, she should be in the imperial city, but she came back early for some reason. The three elders did not understand, especially Yi Changfeng's heart sank. He was worried that something had happened inside the imperial city. Yi Yurong, a peerless beauty, there was no woman more beautiful than her in the whole of Zhaogua. Similarly, her cultivation was also like a daughter of heaven, a peerless genius who had obtained the title of #1 talent in the past several hundred years. Appearance and talent combined together. She walked into the hall, her eyes cold. She glanced at Yi Changfeng and asked coldly, "Why doesn't the great demon beast that appears in Xianbei Mountain stop the selection?" Yi Changfeng trembled and immediately said, "Young sect master, we really want to stop it." Towards Yi Yurong, even Yi Changfeng did not dare to be disrespectful. Although he was only 20 years old, his cultivation was not weaker than any of them. In addition to her special identity as the princess consort, Yi Changfeng didn't dare to disrespect her. Moreover, the sect master of Xianyu sect was Yi Luxian, but all these years, Yi Yurong was in control of the situation. She was actually the sect master of the Xianyu sect, and also the only beast trainer of the Xianyu sect. She was the one who tamed the rank 6 spirit beast, the black scale carving, outside the hall. Yi Changfeng asked, "Young sect master, why did you come back so early?" "Shouldn't you have?" Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Yi Yurong immediately said, "Pass down my order. We will immediately stop the Marshal Hall's examination." Yi Yurong turned around and looked at Guanzhun and said, "Pass my order, gather the elite disciples immediately, and protect the exam disciples as they retreat." Guanzhun immediately replied, "Yes." He quickly left. Yi Changfeng's eyes turned cold and said, "You don't need to send disciples of the elite hall, right? After all, he is one of the elites of our Xianyu sect. Right now, the two big demon beasts have yet to enter the north of the profound sky continent, so the disciples taking the mountain exam should be fine. Furthermore, dawn is about to arrive, so there is no need for us to stop the exam." Yi Yurong glanced at Yi Changfeng and directly asked, "Are you the young sect master, or am I the young sect master?" His tone was ice cold. Yi Changfeng's voice sank as he said faintly, "You're the young sect master. We'll listen to you." Yi Yurong immediately said, "Then do as I say." Finished. Yurong turned and strode out of the great hall. With a light leap, he landed on the black scale carving. Wow! The black scale carving let out a loud roar, flapped its wings, spreading out its wings that were more than 10 meters long. A gust of wind blew, and in an instant it flew into the sky. Yurong flew in the direction of the Xianbei mountain. Yi Changfeng squinted and said, "Something may have happened in the imperial city. I'm afraid Xianyu sect. In another place." Long Fei opened his eye of insight, and the group of 6 entered Xianyu mountain range, and they were only a few hundred meters away from the 2 great demon beastesses that were like gods. Moreover, Long Fei's eyes released a gold light. A few hundred meters away, a golden light shot out in all directions. The halo of a superboss. Chapter 2240, Not Leaving, Then Kill. Chapter 2240, Not Leaving, Then Kill. The elites of the Xianyu sect were all present. All of them were the elites of the escalated blood stage. Other than that, on the desolate hillside, Miao Chong and Gue Qingshan had also disappeared without a trace. In the Xianbei mountain, quick, run. Great demon beast. There's a great demon beast. Run. Mom, I want to go home. I want to go home. Who said there are no demon beast, at least level 3? Xianyu sect, F*CKU. I'm going to die. Even as a ghost, I won't let your Xianyu sect go. If I don't die, I won't come take the Xianyu sect's test in my next life. Thousands of disciples scattered in all directions. Moreover, on this kind of night, he couldn't figure out the direction at all, and was scurrying around like a fly. The Eastern Wave, Western Group, they were all panicking. At this time, huge tremors continuously came out, causing them to fall into chaos. Many of them were trampled to death. 7th Prince, let's hurry up and leave. If we don't leave now, it'll really be too late. An elder tried to persuade them again. If not for Yi Changfeng's order, they would have already escaped. The 7th Prince sneered. Trash, you're already this scared before the great demon beast even appeared. If the great demon beast appeared, then wouldn't you be scared to the point of wetting your pants? He wasn't afraid. He had never known fear since he was young. Only the last time. That was the pain in his heart, thinking of that time. If I don't deal with her tonight, I won't be called Zhao Yiqian. He had no intention of leaving. At this time, a disciple ran back anxiously and said, Your Highness, that woman has been found, but... Zhao Yiqian said, But what? The disciple anxiously said, They have entered Xianyu mountain range. Your Highness, I think we should find another opportunity. Pa! Without waiting for him to finish speaking, he slapped him across the face, and Zhao Yiqian shouted, Trash, what is he afraid of? Go to Xianyu mountain range. Everyone around him was startled. 7th Prince shouted, Did you not hear what I said? To the Xianyu mountain range. Finished, he strode towards the direction of the Xianyu you mountain range." The attendants had no choice but to follow him. The seventh prince did not know what fear was. He did not know what big demon beast was. He had been so used to it since he was young. From the start, he had no idea what danger was. The two elders clenched their fists tightly. They really wanted to carry the seventh prince and leave, but they didn't dare to move. The seventh prince was someone that an insignificant figure like them couldn't afford to offend. He could only bite the bullet and follow up. Holy **T. A fight between the gods. Long Fei pushed away the leaves and looked at the messy battlefield in front of him and heavily gulped down his saliva. However, this made Long Fei too excited. Xiao Dai and the rest were all stunned. Xiao Dai tugged on Long Fei's sleeve and said, "Along, let's quickly leave this place." Thin Monkey nodded his head like a chick pecking at rice, his legs trembling nonstop. "Quick, quick, quick, leave this place." A demon beast, tens of meters tall. They had to raise their heads to see clearly. Compared to the big demon beast, they were like little ants. This was the first time they had ever seen this kind of demon beast. My heart can't take it. Long Fei turned around and saw their pale faces and said, "You guys retreat to the Xianbei mountain first. I'll wait." The two deities were engaged in a battle, with both of them heavily injured. This might be an opportunity. Moreover, how much experience would a demon beast have? How unimaginable. He must have leveled up like flying. Long Fei had a principle in playing games. It was that if he saw a boss, he had to get rid of it no matter what. If he couldn't kill it on his first try, then he would do it twice, 3 times, 10 times. If you don't, then it's not Long Fei. The demon beast in front of him was a super big boss, and they were both heavily injured. Absolutely impossible. Moreover, if he could kill a demon beast like that, their team would be able to pass the test. One was enough. "No way. Along, you have to retreat as well." Xiao Dai immediately grabbed Long Fei's arm and pulled tightly, as if he was afraid that Long Fei would do something stupid. The Thin Monkey said, "Brother Long, don't think too much. Keeping your life is more important. We should quickly leave." The big guy also nodded and said, "Yeah, let's get out of here first." Long Fei glanced at the blood count on the head of the great demon beast and said, "All right, let's leave this place first." He still had more than half of his health, so he had quite a bit of time. Long Fei thought to himself that he should first send them to a safe place and then come back by himself. He had to kill these two bosses. However, at this moment, the girl suddenly screamed, "Snake!" Shwa! A giant python, wrapped around a tree, suddenly attacked. His speed was incredibly fast. Long Fei's reaction was also as fast as lightning. With a glide, he rushed forward and slashed the sky sword in his hands. Shwa! With his sword, he chopped off the head of the snake. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing level 1 green python. Congratulations player Long Fei for killing level 1 green python. The couple quickly said, "Thank you, Brother Long." Long Fei said, "It's fine, let's quickly leave." Why did it become so quiet? Long Fei was slightly shocked. Xiao Dai's eyes slightly rose, and his body couldn't help but tremble as he said, "We can't leave. We've been discovered." Overhead, the chimpanzee's large eyes were fixed on the 6 of them. Not only that. Chapter 2241, The Last Ultimate Skill. Chapter 2241. The last ultimate skill, according to Long Fei's words, he would first ask Xiao Dai and the others to withdraw, and only come in to reap when the fight between the ape and the colorful lizard is over. However, don't let him go. There was only one way left. Kill. However, as soon as Long Fei finished speaking, Thin Monkey kneeled on the ground. The young couple hugged each other and trembled in front of the big demon beast. Human beings were even more helpless than ants. At least the big demon beast would not kill ants, but they were human beings, targets of the demon beast's hatred. He definitely wouldn't let them off. Xiao Dai asked, "What do we do?" "We're no match for him." Xiao Dai looked at Thin Monkey and the couple again. If they didn't fight, they would be terrified, and if not for the attack, standing up would be a problem. Right now, the demon beast were too terrifying. Long Fei's brows also tightened. This was the first time he had seen such a huge demon beast, so he did not know why he did not feel any fear in his heart. On the contrary, his blood was boiling. It was as if such scenes happened frequently. Immediately, Long Fei frowned and immediately said, "Sis, you stay here and take care of them. I'll lure them away." Xiao Dai was startled. Without waiting for Xiao Dai to stop him, he already ran out. The big-sized man gritted his teeth and said, "Big brother along, I will go with you." He also quickly followed. Long Fei stood on top of the towering tree that blocked in front of them and used all his strength to heavily roar. "Grandson, grandfather is here. Come." Roar. The chimp let out a roar as if he had understood something. While doing so, he pulled up a towering tree from the ground and threw it towards Long Fei. Huff! Long Fei quickly jumped, using his body refining 6th grade speed to the extreme. This time he had used all of his strength. Boom! There was a huge pit behind his buttocks. Sawdust, dirt, and shattered rocks filled the sky. A strong shockwave swept over, and Long Fei was sent flying in the air, feeling aghast in his heart. Damn, this is so strong. It was not an ordinary type of power. If he was hit, he would be instantly killed. In the air, Long Fei somersaulted and somersaulted before landing on the ground again. Looking at the gorilla that was chasing after him, he loudly said, "Grandson, grandfather is here." Roar. The chimpanzee pounded his chest with both fists, dropped his forelegs, and pushed himself up. Crash! The sound of wind breaking was ear-piercing. Its enormous body instantly pounced over, covering the sky and covering the sun, as a black shadow enveloped Long Fei. Holy **T. No matter how fast Long Fei was, he was not a match for the 7-rating monster and beasts. In just a moment, it had caught up, and under the cover of the black shadow, the ape was like a huge bomb. If it jumped down like that, Long Fei would be smashed into meat paste. What should we do? Long Fei's heart sank, and looked at the Overlord tripod. Damn it, I'm going all out. Just as Long Fei was about to summon his Overlord tripod, the big-sized man at the other side suddenly shouted out, "Brother along, be careful." Shwa! 7 rays of light suddenly appeared. Colorful lizard that had been hibernating suddenly attacked. 2 deities attacking? Who could block it? Not even the Overlord tripod. Long Fei was confused. The 2 great demon beasts were completely in a world of immortals. At the same time, Long Fei felt that he was too weak, clenched his fists tightly, not showing any fear at all, as if he was not afraid of death. However, at this moment, boom, bang, with a loud explosion, the chimpanzee that was pouncing towards him was suddenly sent flying. The mountain broke, and a huge tree broke into pieces. Long Fei trembled slightly. The colorful lizard had been hiding all this time, waiting for an opportunity. Humans were nothing in his eyes. His target was the chimpanzee. It had always been a chimp, but once it saw that the chimp was focused on Long Fei, he suddenly launched a sneak attack. Awoo! The chimpanzee cried out in pain, a large hole appearing in his chest. Blood gushed out. The colorful lizard started to attack crazily. Long Fei contemptuously said, "Is killing this daddy fun now?" Although he was not dead, he knew clearly in his heart that once the chimps died, no one would be able to control the colorful lizard, and then they would all die. No way. I have to think of a way. We can't let either of the two demon beasts go. Long Fei thought in his heart, these two demon beasts were super bosses, not to mention what they could produce. Even if it was their experience, it would be enough for Long Fei to fly. Immediately, Long Fei did not run, but quickly rushed to the battlefield. Big brother along? The big guy didn't understand. He didn't know why Long Fei would still rush forward at this time. When he was about to follow up, two disciples of Xian, Yu sect, immediately jumped down from the stage in front of him. Let's go. Grabbing his arm, they quickly retreated in the direction of the Xianbei mountain. Sister. Xiao Dai looked at the black scale carving above. His face was filled with joy, but immediately said, Sister, go save Along, he is in front. Yurong was the first to arrive. The black scale carving was too fast. Seeing Xiao Dai and the others, Yurong immediately said, Bring them to a safe area. And then Yurong looked at the battlefield in front of him, and his eyebrows tightened. The black scale carving cried a few times. There was fear in his voice. It was a rank 6 spirit beast, and at the same time, it was not a match for the great 7 rating monster and beasts. Moreover, would a body refinement realm martial artist still have his life? There was no need to go. Yurong hesitated. Go! With a cry, the black scale carving flapped its wings and flew forward. No matter what, those were all disciples who came to the Xian Yu sect to take the examination. As the young sect master, she had to be responsible for them. Then again, she did not understand how a mere body refinement cultivator could enter the great demon beast's battlefield. Courting death? Yurong couldn't help but think of himself. Compared to Long Fei, wasn't she courting death? The Zhao dynasty was just like a big demon beast. She was just like a martial artist at the refinement realm, not caring about her life at all. Rumble! 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 When immortals fought, the world would be destroyed. The sneak attack just now had severely injured the chimp, and it was no longer a match for the colorful lizard. He wouldn't be able to hold on much longer. Long Fei was very clear, and so was the colorful lizard. No way. If the chimpanzees die, we will all die. Long Fei quickly ran up to the chimp and said, I can help you. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to understand Long Fei's sarcastic remarks. As soon as Long Fei finished speaking, the gorilla's expression changed. His eyes filled with disdain. The colorful lizard even looked at Long Fei with contempt. A human in the refinement realm could not even be considered cannon fodder in front of him. Long Fei continued, Give your body to me. For control, I can help you if you don't want to die. Then do as I say. Long Fei was going to release an possession parasite. Chapter 242 Bobo is great. Chapter 242 Bobo is great. The parasitic possession technique was divided into 10 levels. His current level of cultivation could only be released by 1 level. If he wanted to possess the great 7 rating monster and beast chimp, he had to get its permission. Otherwise, Long Fei would not be able to enter into the chimp's body no matter what. This was the only way. The chimp still looked at Long Fei disdainfully. He did not believe that humans would save him, nor did he believe that humans had the ability to do so. A body refinement realm martial artist was even inferior to an ant. Save him? What a joke! Bam! Boom! Boom! The colorful lizard's eyes were bloodshot from killing. What enmity or hatred! The chimpanzee was always on the defensive, but he was on the verge of collapsing. In the distance, the black scale carving floated in midair. Yurong looked down at Long Fei. Shua! He jumped down from the air and instantly landed beside Long Fei. Without saying anything, he grabbed Long Fei's arm and prepared to leave. Too fast. Long Fei didn't have time to react. and Yurong didn't have any intention to negotiate with Long Fei either. "Who are you? Damn, what do you want to do? Let me go. Did you hear that? Don't think I won't dare to do anything to you, just because you're a woman." Long Fei struggled for a few moments before turning his head to look at Yurong. His eyes were startled, and he could not help but say, "So big." One had to know that Long Fei was currently in the mode of activating the Eye of Insight. Yurong was completely naked in front of him. That figure, that chest. Long Fei was completely shocked. This wave, it's really big. Wow. Yurong's eyes darkened, an ice-cold look in her eyes. She hated it when people were staring at her chest, but Long Fei was undisguised, not even blinking. More importantly, Long Fei's eyes seemed to be able to see through her clothes. This was an intuition. Yurong said solemnly, "If you dare look around again, I'll dig out your eyes." A murderous tone. Long Fei regained his composure and looked down. When he was prepared to look at the quiet valley, he discovered a sword wound on her abdomen. "Your wound is bleeding." Just as Long Fei finished speaking, Yurong's face suddenly changed. His eyes stared straight at Long Fei. The pressure burst out, and he shouted, "Who are you?" No one knew about her injuries, and she had just returned to the Xianyu sect, so no one in the entire sect knew. So how could the Long Fei in front of her know? Long Fei did not reply, but instead said, "Your injuries aren't light." As he spoke, he wanted to touch it with his hand. It was also at this time Yurong's expression suddenly changed, and he struck out a palm towards Long Fei. Long Fei was shocked. He immediately scolded, "I just want to see your injuries. Are you King crazy?" Bam! Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei had already been blown away. From 7 to 8 meters in the air, Long Fei fell down heavily to the point where his butt almost blossomed out. He grimaced in pain, looking at Yurong, who was still in the air. He cursed, "Damn you! Is Bo the most amazing? Bodong can just casually hit people?" Roar! The chimp let out another painful scream. Long Fei's body trembled, and he saw that the chimp only had a sliver of health left. It would be dead in less than half a minute. Crap! Long Fei secretly cried out as he rushed towards the chimp quickly. At the same time, he shouted, "Only I can save you if you don't want to die. Don't stop me." He quickly rushed forward. He was the chimpanzee's savior. Similarly, the chimpanzee was also his savior. Returning to the black scale carving, Yurong looked at Long Fei, who was constantly charging towards the ape on the ground, and she was a little puzzled. What does he want to do? Save the chimpanzees? Or to die? In this kind of situation, if Long Fei stepped forward, he would definitely die. However, this time Yurong did not step forward to stop her because he knew that her body was injured. Thus, it would be even better if Long Fei died. Yurong was also wondering in his heart, how did he know that I'm injured? Is he from the Zhao family? Yurong became suspicious, but quickly denied it. No matter how fast the Zhao family members were, they were not faster than him. "Let's see what you want to do." Yurong said coldly. At this moment, during the rush, Long Fei didn't care about whether the chimp agreed or not. At this time, he didn't care anymore. Buzz. Possession parasite. Open. A strand of power flowed out of Long Fei's body, like an idea. At this moment, he quickly rushed into the gorilla's sea of consciousness. The chimpanzee's mind resisted a little. Long Fei roared, "If you want to live, listen to my words. Give me your body." The chimpanzee howled in pain. The demon beast was the same as the humans. They both didn't want to die, and the closer they got to death, the more afraid they became of death. Long Fei's idea was right outside the chimp's brain. Long Fei seemed to have become the chimp's savior. Suddenly, the door to the sea of consciousness opened, and Long Fei's possession technique quickly entered. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating Level 7 Parasite Possession technique. As soon as he finished, Long Fei's possession was complete, and in that moment, he also felt an incomparably powerful strength. Damn, this is the power of a Level 7 possession. At the same time, Long Fei's body froze in place, not moving an inch. Why isn't he moving? Yurong was suspicious. Rumble! With an explosive sound, the chimpanzee suddenly stood up. It was like a black mountain. This scene was incomparably eye-catching. Yurong was stunned. He could not understand. The colorful lizard was also startled. He was clearly going to die from his violence. Why did he suddenly stand up? Moreover, the chimpanzee looked different than it had at first. Scum! Tremble! The chimp hammered its chest and roared crazily. Without waiting for the colorful lizard to attack, Long Fei immediately pounced, and his shadow covered the sky. The colorful lizard reacted quickly and attacked at the same time. However, without waiting for him to attack, the King Kong fist struck down. Boom! Boom! Asterisk, asterisk, boom! Asterisk, asterisk, boom! Asterisk, asterisk, boom! Asterisk, roar! The colorful lizard roared in pain as it opened its mouth to bite. Without waiting for it to bite him, Long Fei suddenly pressed both his hands down, directly entering the colorful lizard's mouth, and pulled the long snake's tongue with him. Bam! He heavily smashed down. The plot reversed. The colorful lizard was being brutally beaten. He was not a match at all. The HP bar on top of his head rapidly bottomed out. Long Fei started to attack crazily, not giving the colorful lizard any chance to resist. He stepped on the ground and smashed it hard, with every step he took using his full strength. Bang, bang, bang. Every strike was a critical hit. 203,822. 212,323. Looking at the colorful lizard's last bit of HP, Long Fei's fists exploded, hitting it hard. Explode for me. Chapter 2243. Explosion of the Universal Soul. Chapter 2243. Explosion of the Universal Soul. The plot flipped too suddenly. Yurong didn't even have time to react. The black scale carving was also confused. The chimp hugged his fists and smashed the colorful lizard with his sledgehammer. The colorful lizard's head was smashed into a pile of meat paste. Long Fei was excited. Ha ha ha. Explode for me. Explode for me. Explode. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing colorful lizard, for obtaining 1 million experience, 100,000 true chi points, and 10 arrogant god energy value points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining colorful lizard. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining colorful lizard bone. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the rainbow barrier. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Rainbow Flame Blade. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward for defeating the super boss colorful lizard. The reward is Universal Soul. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 7th grade of body refinement. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, 8th grade refining body. Ding, ding, ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 1st grade of blood refining. 1 million experience points had caused Long Fei's level to soar. He had directly leveled up to level 4, breaking through to the 1st rank of the blood refinement realm. Awesome. Rainbow barrier? Shield? Ha ha ha. It's a good item. With this, I'll gain 1000 HP out of nowhere. Rainbow Flame Berserker Blade, bringing along a 7-colored light and a flaming blade. This is too cool. An Earth-rank divine weapon. This is a good item. Ha ha ha. Long Fei was grinning from ear to ear. In the past, killing a boss in a game would have felt great, but this feeling was even more satisfying. Special item. Universal Soul? This was a special reward from the system. Long Fei looked at a small ball of something that looked like mist floating in the system and muttered, "Universal Soul, why do I feel like I've seen it before?" It was a very familiar feeling, as if he had seen it before. If Long Fei's memories didn't contain the seal, he had indeed seen it before. At that time, he was only inside the Chaos Realm, and relying on the Universal Soul, he almost killed the Destiny God. At that time, his cultivation was not comparable to Universal Worlds, was currently in the middle of the Universal Large World. So if he were to use this Universal Soul, it would definitely be earth-shattering. Item: Universal Soul Grade. Attribute: description, uniqueness. It could be used to increase strength, or it could also be used to refine artifacts. It is an all-powerful adjunct. No matter what it was, it could be used, and it would result in a very powerful change. Uniqueness: it's just a one-time use item. Keep it for now. Long Fei moved and kept the Universal Soul. It was also at this time the Possession Parasite spell was almost over. In the chimpanzee's sea of consciousness, the chimpanzee panted heavily like a lamp that had run out of oil. He said lightly, "Thank you." The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted and said, "No need to thank me. I've said I can help you. Moreover." The corner of Long Fei's mouth revealed a hint of a smile. The colorful lizard was a super boss, and the gorilla was also a super boss. With 1,000,000 experience points, it was enough for him to level up a few times. He definitely could not let it go. When the time for the parasitic spell came, Long Fei was going to make his move. The chimpanzee already had a little bit of skin left over, so he didn't have to worry about getting rid of it as long as he took a few hits. However, Long Fei had yet to finish her beautiful dream when the system suddenly sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering the quest, Save the Chimpanzees. Mission level S. Task reward: 1,000,000 experience points, 10,000 true Chi S, 50 arrogant god energy value points, 1 special reward. Do you accept? Huh. Long Fei was startled, and then he cursed in his heart. Damn, what's going on? This is a boss. Should I save it? Its HP is already low. Even if I don't kill him, he will die. How can I kill a big demon beast like that? Moreover, without waiting for Long Fei to reject, the system automatically accepted the quest. Ding! System notification. Quest failure level 10F *CKU. Long Fei was immediately furious. Previously, he had only dropped by 1 level, but now he had dropped by 10 levels. Save, save, save. Is it not okay for Lousy to save you? You are the system, and you are an ancestor, right? If the system was human, Long Fei would definitely beat him up. But how can I save him? With what? There was nothing he could do. In this kind of situation, the demon beast needed an incomparably powerful elixir. Moreover, it was the type of elixir that could bring death back to life. Forget about divine pellets. Long Fei did not even have a single level 1 pellet. What was he supposed to save? Ding! System notification. The duration of Possession Parasite is over. Long Fei returned to the real face. His body also regained its freedom. Yorong, who had been watching from high up in the sky, had a surprised look on his face. Long Fei walked in front of the gorilla and said, "I want to save you, but I really do not know how to save him. I am just a small martial artist who does not have many miraculous pills or medicines. I cannot save him. Can you please cancel the mission? The chimp simply did not know what Long Fei was talking about. However, his eyes were filled with gratitude. He had won the battle with the colorful lizard. He thanked Long Fei. The chimpanzee panted heavily as damaged figures continuously floated up above his head. Long Fei became even more anxious. There's only 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Where can I go to look for a healing pill? Pills, pills. He was so anxious that cold sweat started to pour from Long Fei's forehead. To drop 10 levels, that really was a night before liberation. Pills, pills. Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes shone with a bright light as he said excitedly, "Right, weren't there a lot of pills in the 73 space ring? I am now at escalated blood stage. My level has increased. Can I use it?" What were those 73 space ring? Powerhouse of God's tribes, space ring. They were the strongest race in the universal large world, and the pellets in their space ring S were all divine pellets, the top pellets in the universal large world. In that instant, Long Fei moved and looked at the space ring floating in the system space. Ding. Level is not high enough. I can't use it. A space ring cannot do it. Ding. Level is not high enough. I can't use it. Another space ring was also not good. Ding. A dozen or so space ring were unable to take out pills in a row. Seeing that the gorilla's HP was running low, Long Fei was burning with anxiety. Even though it had failed the quest, and it had dropped by 10 levels, he still tried to open the space ring. "Old master, bless me." "1 is enough." Ding. "Do you want to receive a tear? 1 divine pill." Happiness came too suddenly. Long Fei was startled for half a second, then immediately said, "Receive." A purple gold pellet fell into Long Fei's hands. Long Fei did not care about that. He directly ran to the chimp and put the divine pellet into its mouth. Long Fei began to pray. "Ah, me too, all Buddha. Please bless Lord of Buddha. Don't fail. I don't want to become LV1. Rumble. A loud explosion resounded. The body of the chimpanzee suddenly underwent a drastic change. In this instant, Long Fei looked at the scene in front of him, stunned. Chapter 2244, Transforming King Kong. Chapter 2244, Transforming King Kong. The 73 space ring were just like the 73 treasure chests. They opened dozens of them consecutively before they could produce a grade 1 spirit pill. Long Fei didn't even have time to check the properties of the divine pellet before stuffing it into the gorilla's mouth. Once the divine medicinal liquid was released, a huge reaction immediately occurred. Long Fei jumped down from the chimpanzee's chest. Both of his eyes were in a daze. What was happening right in front of his eyes shocked him. "Damn, what the F asterisk CK? This. He was so shocked that he couldn't even speak. The chimpanzee suddenly stood up, and all the wounds on its body instantly healed. The wound on his head was instantly filled. Gold light flashed from his body. Boom, boom. The power within his body continuously vibrated. What was this? This was a resonance of power that would only appear when one broke through. In just a split second, the chimp had gone from Great 7 rating monster and beasts to level 9. Demon Beast S were similar to humans in that they needed to cultivate in order to break through, but every stage of the Demon Beast's breakthrough was much more difficult than the humans. Moreover, its level 1 breakthrough was almost equivalent to a human breaking through a large boundary. To break through 2 realms consecutively in less than a second, if they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, who would have believed it? To be able to heal a wound and instantly heal it, breaking through 2 levels consecutively, that must be incredible, right? However, all of this is nothing What truly shocked Long Fei wasn't these, but the change in the gorilla's body. Kacha, boom. A pair of heavy metal gloves appeared on his fists. As for what kind of metal? Long Fei didn't know, but the golden light around his body looked like it was made out of pure gold. Crack, boom. On his knees was a thick suit of metal armor. Crack, boom. On his shoulders there was a thick set of metal arm guard. Crack, boom. On his chest there was a thick metal armor. Crack, boom. A heavy metal hat appeared on his head. This scene, just like the Transformers, just like the thunder and lightning within a game, his body was covered in a thick layer of heavy armor. Moreover, the strength and defensive aura he exuded was completely different from before. Long Fei was confused. He was truly stupefied. The chimpanzee's sudden change was too strong, so strong that his heart couldn't take it anymore. At the same time, his heart was filled with incomparable excitement. Wow, if a divine pill has such a great power, then lousy. Thinking about the 73 space ring, although not every space ring had a divine pellet, at Long Fei's current level, the thing he took out was the lowest level existence among these 73 space ring. What did this mean? This meant that when his level became stronger in the future, the things inside this space ring would be able to oppress everything. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Lousy is rich. Lousy is definitely strong. Long Fei was so excited that it felt like he was trampling the entire Zhen Wu continent. The chimpanzee hugged his fists. Kacha, kacha. A series of metal clashing sounds rang out. Boom. Flames flew in all directions. The chimp knelt down on one knee and said in the broken human language, "Thank you." It was also at this time. Ding. Congratulations, player. Long Fei, for completing the Save the Chimpanzee quest. You have received 1 million experience, 100,000 true chi points, 50 arrogant god energy value, and a special reward. Do you wish to activate it? Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Escalate Blood 2 stage. He leveled up once again. This felt great. Long Fei looked at the system's special reward, and the idea moved. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward. The reward is Beast Mastery. Do you wish to cultivate it? Huh. Just one skill. Long Fei started to despise him a little and said, "Cultivate Beast Mastery." It was a very rare cultivation technique in Zhen Wu continent. Moreover, not everyone could become a beast trainer. The Beast Mastery rewarded by the system was completely different from the one bestowed by the Zhen Wu continent. Long Fei did not know about this. Long Fei withdrew the system, looked at Transformers, and said, "It's fine, I said that I could save you, so I will definitely save you." The current Transformers was already a level 9 demon beast. His HP was probably at least 1,000,000 points. What could Long Fei do to such a monster? Even if he wanted to kill him, it would be useless. He wasn't a match at all. Long Fei also lost this heart. Transforming King Kong stood up, his eyes full of gratitude. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 100 points of affability level with the chimp. Huh. The affection of a monster. Long Fei trembled slightly, looked at the Transformers, and asked, "Why were you chased here by lizards?" The Transformers didn't hold back at all, and said, "Because I've discovered a secret." Long Fei asked doubtfully, "You found a secret, but you're not being hunted down by lizards. Could it be that you've discovered that the lizard's wife is stealing people?" Transformers said, "No, I've discovered that the Xianbei mountain veins has a special fairyland. Coincidentally, the lizard has also discovered me. In order to monopolize that fairyland, it chased after me nonstop. The lizard's perception is stronger than mine, so I feel that there must be some great treasures within the fairyland. A great treasure? Long Fei's eyes lit up. You know the location? Transformers nodded and said, I know. Do you want to go now? I can take you there. Go. Just as he finished speaking, Long Fei looked at the color of the sky and then said, We can't go for the time being. He was still in the middle of the exam. Moreover, the fairyland the Transformers was talking about was definitely deep inside the Xianbei mountain. With his current cultivation level, entering it would just be seeking death. Right. I need some monster head. Can you help me hunt them? Long Fei looked at the sky. The sky was about to brighten, and the assessment was about to end. He had promised Xiao Dai and the others that he would definitely guide them through the assessment. When a man speaks, he means what he says. Without any hesitation, the Transformers turned and ran into the forest. Long Fei also turned and walked towards the gigantic, colorful lizard. It was enough to have this great 7-rating monster and beasts, but Long Fei was afraid. On the back of the black scale carving, Eorong's face changed. Chimpanzee's breakthroughs and transformations happened right before her eyes. Moreover, she saw Long Fei instantly mutate when he was fed something to the chimp. Who is he? What exactly is it for chimpanzees to eat? Why is it so powerful? Eorong was incomparably shocked in his heart. The black scale carving stared at Long Fei with her eagle eyes, her face filled with jealousy and envy. It just wanted to kneel in front of Long Fei and beg for that divine pellet. It wanted to break through as well as transform. Let me touch it. Let me touch it. Boom. Half an hour later, a large pile of demon beast corpses appeared in front of Long Fei. 3 levels for levels and a level 5 demon beast. It had only been half an hour and over 100 demon beasts had already been killed. Long Fei was shocked, but he felt a bit of regret in his heart. If I had known earlier, I would have gone with you. These were all experience points. This caused Eorong, who was on the black scale carving, to be even more shocked. She didn't expect that it would actually help Long Fei kill Demon Beast after the chimp left. Could it be that the chimpanzee is already a spirit beast that he tamed? A 9th grade spirit beast. That Eorong's eyes tensed up. Up until now, there had not been any level 9 spirit beasts. Even within the Zhao dynasty, the strongest sect of Infinitas did not have any level 9 spirit beasts. Looking at Long Fei, Eorong's eyes flashed with a strange light. It was as if she saw a trace of hope from Long Fei. All right, you can leave. I'll come find you the next time I enter the mountain. Long Fei patted Transformers and waved his hand. The Transformers did not linger. Long Fei said that he wanted to enter the fairyland, so he was prepared. Following that, its huge body disappeared into the forest. I'm so happy today, so happy today. Long Fei whistled and hummed with a face full of excitement. With these monster head, he would be able to pass the examination. When I step into the Qi refining stage, I will be preparing to enter the Xianbei mountain veins to take a risk. Immortal realm? Ha ha! Long Fei was already extremely looking forward to it. The more valuable a place was, the more he would look forward to it. It didn't matter if they played games or reality. Who wouldn't want to live a good life? Hello, everyone. I am Along from MC. I am shouting for everyone today. Blade Mountain Flame Sea Guild. The more Long Fei thought about it, the more excited he became, and it was as if he was walking towards the pinnacle of his life. Blade, angrily slicing the snow-winged eagle. Mountain, your heroic spirit soars to the heavens. Just as he was about to lose track of himself, the black scale carving and Eorong descended. Cough, cough. Eorong coughed. Long Fei still had not reacted. He was still in the midst of shouting wheat. Cough, cough, cough. Eorong's voice rose. Only then did Long Fei turn his head, abruptly. At this moment, he still had time to look with his penetrating eyes, looking at Eorong's figure and that huge wave. Gudong! He couldn't help but swallow his saliva. I can't stand it. Long Fei couldn't even control his body when he wanted to. Eorong's figure was simply too great. Then the skin, the figure, and especially the wave on his chest. He really wanted to madly bite it. Long Fei forced himself to calm down and asked, "Why haven't you left yet?" "Right. What did you mean just now? Didn't I say that you were injured, yet you attacked me?" Long Fei thought about the scene just now and remained vigilant. He was not clear about Eorong's identity. However, his intuition told him that this woman was not simple. Eorong changed from his usual self and revealed a faint smile. "You're an examinee from Xianyu sect?" This smile, Long Fei's mind trembled and said, "That's right." Eorong continued to laugh. "You hunted so many demon beasts." Long Fei said, "Is there a problem?" Eorong said, "No problem. What problems can there be? A person at the refinement realm can kill those at level 3 for 5. What problems does the great 7 rating monster and beasts have?" Long Fei was not an idiot. These words were obviously off, and he said, "If you have something to say, just say it." "Smart." Eorong said, "I like to interact with smart people the most. Give me the pill that you gave to the chimp just now. I can ignore the things that you cheated." The eyes of the black scale carving shone with a golden light. Its heart was filled with gratitude. Eorong also wanted to let the black scale carving break through, transform, and become strong demon beast. This way, she would have another reason to rely on. However, without waiting for her to finish speaking, Long Fei ignored her and said, "No." He searched over 30 space ring before taking out this one. Did he still have anything left in his storage ring? To be honest, he didn't even know. Moreover, even if there was, he wouldn't give it to her. To be able to instantly allow a 7 rating monster and beasts to break through its limits, the value of this pill was invincible. How could he just give it to someone so casually? Eorong's face sank and used a threatening tone. "You better think carefully. As long as I expose your cheating, you and your friends won't be able to enter Xianyu sect." F***CK. Threatening your father? Long Fei was immediately angered. He hated people who threatened him the most, and said, "Don't even mention how big your chest is. I have even seen the bigger one." Threatening your father? Even if you're the young sect master of the Xianyu sect, it's still useless. Very angry, Long Fei muttered to himself, standing naked in front of me and threatening me? TSK, do you believe that I won't tell you how many moles you have? Eorong glared at him coldly. "What did you say?" "Say what?" Long Fei said. "I'll tell you. Do you believe that I won't tell you everything about the mole on your body? You still want to threaten me? Don't you know who your brother is?" Eorong squinted his eyes, carrying a cold intent. He didn't know why. She kept feeling that she was naked in front of Long Fei, as if her entire body had been seen by Long Fei. The atmosphere was cold, and the temperature around them dropped abruptly. The hairs on Long Fei's body stood up, and he said lightly, "Don't be reckless. There are injuries on your body. If you continue to move and crack them, I won't be responsible for your wounds." He carefully took a few steps back. He was really worried that Eorong would make a move. He definitely wasn't a match for her. Eorong squinted his eyes again. The killing intent became even stronger as he asked, "How did you see the wounds on my body?" Long Fei smirked and said, "I just know." Eorong's right hand moved. Whoosh! The long sword shot out. Her figure also attacked in that moment. Long Fei had no chance to react at all. Without even batting an eye, a cold sword was pressed against his throat. Yorong replied coldly, "Speak." Her injury must not be exposed. Moreover, the wounds on her body were not ordinary. Once it was exposed, the consequences would be unimaginable. The idea moved a little as it looked at the ball of universal soul in the system space. As long as he felt the killing intent from Yorong increase even more, he would instantly release it. "Will you tell me?" Yorong asked. Long Fei was extremely calm. His two eyes stared straight at Yorong's chest, and he laughed sinisterly. "I won't say it. Look even bigger at close range." Wow. And then Long Fei didn't wait for Yorong to get angry and said, "I can say anything I want, unless you agree to a condition of mine." Yorong asked, "What conditions?" Long Fei swallowed his saliva and said, "Let me touch your chest." Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Yorong's face turned sinister. His killing intent became dense instantly. "You're courting death." Chapter 246. He can't escape from my hands. Chapter 246. He can't escape from my hands. Long Fei was a man, a very normal man. Moreover, in his memory, he was an otaku who had just crossed over from Earth. Every day, he would fly to the computer and suddenly have a perspective eye. How could he not be excited? He believed that any man would be unable to control himself, because it was really too big. It made his hands itch. The more Yorong stood in front of Long Fei, the more he felt that he was naked. Yet Long Fei teased her at such a critical juncture. He was simply courting death. Moreover, Yorong's personality was ice cold. Long Fei's conditions made her extremely angry. The cold sword in his hand moved. At this moment, along, big brother along, brother along. A few shouts came from not too far away. Yorong's eyes turned cold. He retreated quickly and stared at Long Fei. "Kid, just you wait." Jumping onto the black scale carving, the black scale carving jumped up into the sky and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Long Fei rubbed the bridge of his nose, grinned, and said, "You made me wait, and I even made you wait for me." Ding. At this moment, the system in his mind suddenly sounded out. Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating the 7 beauty diagram quest F*CK. A clue to a super quest. Long Fei's heart trembled. Before he had awakened his first life's memories, he already had this mission. If he could find 7 beauties, he would receive special rewards. There is no time limit for this task. At the same time, without any clues, a clue for the mission suddenly appeared. Long Fei was shocked. Could she be one of the 7 meridians painting I was looking for? He was secretly shocked. It was also at this time. Xiao Dai and the others ran up, looking at the pile of demon beast beside Long Fei. The 5 of them were all shocked. Thin Monkey immediately cheered. "Ha ha ha! We're rich, rich. We're going to have a chance." The big bloke immediately cried tears of joy and started to wail loudly. The young couple hugged each other tightly. To them, these demon beasts meant that their fates had changed. It was a major turning point. Xiao Dai chuckled as he looked at Long Fei. Her smile was like a flower, incomparably moving. Long Fei was intoxicated from watching. He laughed. "What are you still standing there for? Hurry up and help." The 5 of them rushed forward happily. Why didn't you make a move?" The black scale carving and Yorong began conversing. He was a spirit beast subdued by Yorong using the beast mastery and was able to communicate with his master. The idea, the black scale carving said, "Kill him and we will naturally be able to find the things on his body." Yorong said, "In the future, there will be plenty of opportunities. he will not be able to escape from my grasp. She never thought of killing Long Fei. However, she also definitely did not want to let Long Fei go. The black scale carving did not understand. Yurong said, "Can he still run in Xianyu's sect?" "I know you're envious of that chimpanzee. Don't worry, I will definitely help you. It's just that right now, The black scale carving also returned to normal and said, "The injuries on your body." Yurong said, "I am simply unable to withstand the power of Zhao Wuji's everlasting burning sword. And this is still Zhao Wuji. If it was Zhao Chongshan, I'm afraid that I would already be dead." Thinking of that sword, her palms couldn't help but break out in cold sweat. A cold chill went down his spine. The black scale carving asked, "How did he know you were injured?" Yurong sank into deep thought. She did not know about this question, but she felt that Long Fei was not a simple person. Actually, Yurong should be glad that he did not make a move. Otherwise, she probably wouldn't be in this world anymore. At that moment, with just a slight movement from Long Fei, the universal soul would transform into energy and be released. At least, half of the Xianbei Mountains vein would be destroyed. A black northern sect martial arts practice field. The disciples that were taking the exam rushed back one after another. At this moment, a resting room specially provided for Zhao Yiqian. Trash. All of you are F*King trash. You can't even find a woman. What's the use of asking all of you? If she dares to enter Xianbei Mountain, do you not dare? Rice bucket. Trash. Zhao Yiqian's face was filled with anger and displeasure. The servants of the seventh prince in the lounge all lowered their heads, not daring to even raise their eyes. At this time, Miao Chong walked into the resting room. Zhao Yiqian immediately asked, "Did you finish off that old thing and that cow?" Miao Chong slightly said, "This subordinate is useless. I did not find that cow or that old man." "What?" Zhao Yiqian's eyes were wide opened as he stared at Miao Chong. If he was not afraid of Miao Chong's strength, he would have slapped him. He was so angry that he clenched his fists and said, "Third place on the Elixir S list. What use is there for you?" Miao Chong's body sunk. His eyes flashed with a sinister light. Zhao Yiqian trembled slightly, revealing a terrified look, "Since there's no use in finding them, what did you do all day?" Miao Chong said coldly, "Wait." Zhao Yiqian said, "Did we wait until then?" Miao Chong replied, "No, you." Zhao Yiqian glared fiercely at Miao Chong. Everything that had happened today had gone his way, and he himself had not ridden Xiao Dai under his crotch. He had not expected Miao Chong to fail as well. One of the disciples said softly, "Your Highness, monk can run, but the temple can't. As long as we enter the Xian-Yu sect, we can take them down." Exactly. A duck that is in the mouth can fly. Don't worry. Next time I'll definitely deliver her to you tied up. This time, they were doing it for the seventh prince's safety. It didn't matter if they couldn't find Xiao Dai. If something were to happen to the seventh prince, they would all die with him. At this time, a disciple of the law enforcement hall said, "Your Highness, the results of the assessment are about to be announced. The elder wants you to come over." Zhao Yiqian said, "Announce the results of the assessment? Didn't you say that this examination would be canceled?" The disciple said, "No, we will not cancel it. We will calculate the result of this assessment." Zhao Yiqian replied, "Got it." He felt that it was a bit strange, but the corners of his mouth curled up as he said, "Examination results? Not cancel? Then who the F***K is my opponent?" Actually, this time, Yi Chong Feng insisted on not canceling the assessment. It was for the seventh prince. He knew clearly in his heart that the seventh prince had made all the preparations and must let him take first place. The martial arts arena was in an uproar. Didn't you say to cancel the examination? Why are there any results? In any case, it's still top 1,000. It doesn't matter whether I cancel it or not. Is this a scam? Stop complaining. If you have the guts, then don't come take the exam. Do you think we'll be first this time? Is there any need to guess? It's definitely the seventh prince. He's at the 8th level of the body refinement realm. Who can compare to him? Exactly. Discussions broke out. Not long after, Guanzhen Yi Changfeng, Yu Wanshan Wu Yi, and a few other heavyweight elders all appeared. Guanzhen took a step forward and said, "We will now start to count the results. In addition, this time, the martial arts first place will receive a special reward." Finished. On the arena stage, a disciple lifted up the red cloth from the display stand and rolled out an ancient scroll. Many disciples looked on. Guanzhen said, "Ancient Moon Volume." Long Fei raised his eyes and looked through the system. "Damn. Good stuff. Thank you for your support." Chapter 247. Who Dares to Fight with Me? Chapter 247. Who Dares to Fight with Me? The Ancient Moon Volume could be considered a great treasure of the Xianyu sect. It was brought out from the primordial secret world by the first sect master, Xianyu, so its name was Ancient Moon Volume. In the early days, it was the most precious treasure of the Xianyu sect. However, no one was able to slowly comprehend the things written on it before they lost their position. It was the most representative spirit treasure of the Xianyu sect. Use it as a reward. This reward was too heavy. This suggestion was suggested by Yi Changfeng. It was very obvious that he wanted to curry favor with the seventh prince, and it was very obvious that the seventh prince would definitely not even need to think about this before this examination. Who didn't know that the guards around him were helping him kill the demon beast? No matter how strong a person was, he couldn't be a match for a dozen people. Moreover, these people were all 5th grade refining body martial artists, so they were even less capable of being a match for him. Yu Wanshan and Wu Yi are opposed to it, but young sect master Yi Yurong actually agreed. This confused the 2 great elders. The young sect master had the right to take advantage of her, and if she agreed, the 2 elders would have nothing to say. Ancient Moon Volume? Isn't that the treasure of the Xianyu sect? Wow, isn't this reward a bit too heavy? Damn, isn't this obviously giving the Ancient Moon Volume to the 7th prince? Why didn't you say that there would be a reward before the assessment? Is there any use in talking about it? If I said a year earlier, you wouldn't have gotten first place either. Exactly. The martial arts arena was in a flurry of discussion. Everyone wanted to obtain the Ancient Moon Volume, but they all knew in their hearts that this treasure had nothing to do with them. It belonged to the 7th prince. Zhao Yiqian also revealed a complacent smile. At least he had a good thing now. One of the goals of his visit to the Xianyu sect was to find the Ancient Moon Volume. He didn't expect it to fall into his hands so easily. Is it a good thing? How come I heard that no one was able to understand the words on it? Xiao Dai muttered. She had lived in the Xianyu sect for 16 years and was naturally familiar with the Ancient Moon Volume. This scroll was indeed a great treasure. However, no one was able to comprehend it. Although it was called a great treasure, it was actually useless. Long Fei muttered, "I just feel that it's a good thing." The item was glowing with a golden light. What did this mean? Luminous items were naturally of high quality. If this wasn't a good item, then what was? Thin Monkey said, "This time, Xianyu sect is really generous. He actually took out the Ancient Moon Volume as a reward." The big guy said, "This is for 7th prince. Even a fool can tell." Thin Monkey rolled his eyes at him. "That may not be so." His eyes could not help but look at Long Fei. The big-sized couple looked at Long Fei. Xiao Dai said slightly, "Stop looking at it. The seventh prince has over a dozen people helping him hunt demon beast. We can't compare." Long Fei laughed and said, "Then we'll have to compete to know." Guanzhen coughed and suppressed the martial arts arena's voice. "We will now announce the results. Please call for the names of the people to come up one by one and hand over the demon beast you have hunted. Let's begin. Lu Neng. 1 level 1 monster, 1 point. Next." He quickly counted. Most of the examinees were basically just 1 or 2 level 1 monster. One of them didn't even manage to hunt 1 demon beast, and just left with 0 eggs. Demon beast were not so easy to kill. Next, Zhao Yiqian. Zhao Yiqian tidied up his collar and walked forward in large strides, his hand not holding onto the spatial wooden tablet. The statistical disciple said, "Please take out the monster head." Zhao Yiqian said in disdain, "What's there to take? I'm first anyway, so I don't think we need that trouble. Just give me the Ancient Moon volume." The statistical disciple was startled and looked at Guanzhen, who was on the stage. Guanzhen laughed. "Your Highness, we will still need to count the demon beast." Zhao Yiqian took off a ring on his finger and said, "The level of your Xian Yu Sect's spatial wooden tablet is too low, the space is too small, it's basically useless. I put all the demon beast inside my space ring. Take them out for me." Direct command. Guanzhen's face looked displeased. Yi Changfeng said, "Please do it for me." Guanzhen walked forward, and the idea moved. It looked inside the space ring, and was shocked there were a whole mountain of monster head inside the space ring. Moreover, not a single drop of blood came out from these monster head, as the inside of the space ring was extremely clean. This space ring must be at least Earth stage. Even Guanzhen didn't have the qualifications to have one. Just a random space ring was a land-level treasure. The Zhao dynasty was indeed not simple. Guanzhen began to take out Demon Beast S from the space ring S. Everyone began counting. 107 of them. 223. 687. 980 heads. When he came to this point, Guanzhen paused slightly. The majority of the demon beast he took out just now were level 1 monster S, a small number of them. The score reached 1,500 points. Martial Arts Arena was shocked. Zhao Yiqian also laughed complacently. "Who dares to compete with me? Crush him to death." He was extremely pleased with himself. 1,500 points completely broke the history of the Xian Yu sect. Moreover, this wasn't the end, because there was another big thing. Guanzhen slightly coughed and said, "Here, there's another big fellow." Finished. The head of a 4-rating monster and beasts was taken out. It was sinister and terrifying. Some of the disciples that were nearby immediately became weak from the fear, and they started to retreat. 4-rating monster and beasts. My God, how is this possible? This is my first time seeing a 4-rating monster and beasts. The 7th prince isn't simple after all. The 7th prince is too handsome. This time's first place will definitely be him. This time he'll get 2,000 points. The higher the demon beasts rank, the higher their points. A 4-rating monster and beasts' points would reach 500 points. Level 5 would give them 1,000 points. Level 6 would bring them to 5,000 points. And level 7 would be considered a big demon beast. That was even more terrifying. In the past, the most they had tested for were 3-rate monster and beast S. 4-rating monster and beasts S had never appeared before, let alone super monster S of the 5th and 6th levels. Yi Changfeng stroked his goatee and smiled faintly. Zhao Yiqian was extremely pleased with himself. 2,000 points, break the record. Who can compete more? Zhao Yiqian said arrogantly, "Just give me the Ancient Moon volume. Don't waste my time." Yu Wanshan was a little displeased and shouted out loud, "The scores have not been calculated yet. How do you know that there are no higher-ranked students than you? Zhao Yiqian sneered and said straightforwardly, "It's already impressive for these trash to be able to kill 10 demon beasts, and you still want to fight me? Humph. You overestimate yourself." And Zhao Yiqian looked at him and laughed. "Even if some of them are taller than me, do they dare to announce it to the public? If you want to oppose me, then go against the imperial family. I want to see who wants to die." He threatened directly, arrogant, domineering, and arrogant. The martial arts practice field quieted down. At this time, Long Fei walked out and said, "Are the statistics finished? Since I haven't finished counting, let's do a count first." Chapter 248, 10,000 points, scared to the point of pissing. Chapter 248, 10,000 points, scared to the point of pissing. Once he finished, the entire audience was in an uproar as they all looked towards Long Fei. "Come out at this time? Wasn't this a provocation? Isn't this courting death?" Just as Zhao Yiqian finished speaking, Long Fei suddenly appeared. This made him extremely unhappy, and his eyes darkened slightly as Zhao Yiqian stared at Long Fei and asked, "Who are you?" Long Fei didn't even bother with him. Looking at the statistical senior brother, he said, "Can I announce my results?" The statistical disciple looked at Guanzhun. Guanzhun recovered his expression and said, "According to the order of registration." Not waiting for him to finish, Zhao Yiqian directly went up, laughed coldly, and said, "Don't follow the order of bullshit. Just let him go first. I want to see how many demon beasts he can take out." Arrogant in front of me? It's more like seeking death. Zhao Yiqian looked at Long Fei with disdain. He did not put this kind of person in his eyes at all. What he had said just now was only to those people of the Zhou clan. Amongst all the disciples who were taking the exam, only the people from the Zhou family were a little bit of a threat to him. As for the others, he did not put them in his eyes at all. Long Fei glanced at Zhao Yiqian and said, "My lines have all been snatched by you." Zhao Yiqian said in disdain, "What did you say?" Long Fei shrugged his shoulders. "It's nothing. I have a bad habit of doing things. I just can't stand people acting tough in front of me. Normally, when I encounter these kinds of things, I would just slap them." Zhao Yiqian glared and shouted, "You are F*** king courting death." Long Fei didn't pay any attention to him and said, "I only killed one demon beast." As soon as he finished, Zhao Yiqian immediately laughed out loud. "Ha ha ha! A demon beast? A demon beast wants to compare with me? A demon beast? Damn, how many demon beasts do I think he has? Isn't this person taking the examination at the back? Isn't he a fool? Is he a tease? He wants to compete with Seventh Prince. It's so damn funny. Ha ha ha!" Many people of martial arts arena laughed. In their eyes, Long Fei was just a big fool. How could he be compared to the Seventh Prince? Idiot! You want to compare a demon beast with the Seventh Prince? Could it be that the demon beast you hunted was a 5-level monster? It might be the level 6 demon beast. Him, level 6 demon beast. Ha ha ha! The crowd laughed again. Long Fei stuck a hand into the spatial wooden tablet, fished around, but was unable to find anything after fumbling around for a long time. Zhao Yiqian was grinning from ear to ear. Is the demon beast too young to find it on the spatial wooden tablet? Ha ha ha! Arrogant in front of me? If I say it, I'll be courting death. Guanzhun also said slightly, "This is not a good place to joke. Hurry up and go down." "No way," Zhao Yiqian said. "If he can't even bring out a single demon beast today, then he is toying with me and the Xianyu sect. For someone like him, according to the law, cut off the tongue. How dare you act so arrogantly in front of him? If he did not give some color to him, then he would not be Zhao Yiqian." At this time, not far away, Yurong also slowly walked a few steps forward. Long Fei's eyes opened, and sweat poured down his body like rain. His entire body was completely drenched. Following that, all the veins on his body began to bulge as he roared out loudly, "Open your eyes wide and look carefully. Giggle." His right arm suddenly thickened as he exerted his strength. Boom! The gigantic, colorful lizard head was taken out from the space ring. Although it was only a head, the domineering aura of the great 7 rating monster and beasts was still there. The head that was lifted up into the air by Long Fei was like a huge body that suddenly trembled. It was too terrifying. Rumble! A loud sound echoed out. It crashed onto the ground, right beside the 7th prince. At this moment, the 7th prince's face suddenly turned as pale as a thin sheet of paper. His entire body trembled without stop, and he even forgot to retreat. Moreover, his crotch began to drip. If the last time he was scared to the point of peeing, then this time it was a mental suppression. His mind felt as if it had been shattered, and he was scared to death. This was not a normal life-threatening situation. It was quite frightening, as if his groin had shrunk and he was scared out of his wits. Other than Zhao Yiqian, many of those who had mocked him earlier were so scared that they wanted to prostrate on the ground. Guan Zhen's eyes turned sinister. Yi Changfeng's expression also secretly changed. "Good heavens!" Yuan Shan said excitedly. Immediately, there was not a single sound in the entire arena, as they were all squashed dead by the great 7 rating monster and beast's head. Domineering, too overbearing. Without doing anything, the moment he attacked, he was like a great 7 rating monster and beasts tyrannically exploding on the surface. Long Fei's mouth formed a smile. His gaze swept across the entire hall. Keep laughing for me. Acting cool. I will not allow anyone to act tough in front of me," Long Fei said in disdain. He stared at Zhao Yiqian and asked, "Is this 7 rating monster and beasts enough? Elder, how many points does the great 7 rating monster and beasts have?" Guan Zhen's voice trembled a little as he said, One, 10,000 points. It was also at this time Yi Changfeng's body moved and instantly landed beside Zhao Yiqian. He stared at Long Fei and bellowed, "Where did you pick up this great 7 rating monster and beast's head?" 7th Prince's eyes turned sinister and his expression recovered a little. He said, "You're right. Where did you pick up that great 7 rating monster and beast's head? Kid, you cheated. Cheating in the exam grounds, cutting off both hands according to the law. Someone, come. Cut off both his hands." Zhao Yiqian was extremely angry in his heart. He was so scared that he peed his pants. He had to take this opportunity back. Ha! A dozen servants quickly ran over and surrounded Long Fei. At this moment, Xiao Dai immediately rushed forward. "I want to see who dares to touch Long." The big man also rushed forward. Thin Monkey hesitated for a moment before also rushing out. The young couple also rushed up. They surrounded Long Fei in the middle. Zhao Yiqian sneered and said, "There's even help? It just so happens that I can do it on the spot." Yuan Shan said softly, "This is the Xianyu sect. It's not up to you to make decisions here." The law of Zhaogua was the law of Zhaogua. It could not stop the Xianyu sect. Long Fei was not afraid at all and laughed blandly. He looked at Yi Changfeng and said, "Speak of the monster head I picked up. Then I would like to ask, where did you pick up all these heads?" Zhao Yiqian shouted, "I killed them all myself. I am at the 8th stage of the refinement realm. Killing these low-level demon beasts is easy. What is your cultivation level? Do you think you are? You think you can kill great 7-rating monster and beasts? Who would believe that?" Long Fei coldly laughed. Being able to kill 4-rating monster and beasts at the 8th level of the refinement realm, Then according to your calculations, isn't it normal for my Escalate Blood 2 stage to be able to kill great 7 rating monster and beasts? As soon as he finished, the entire arena was shocked. Xiao Dai also fiercely turned his head to look at Long Fei and asked, "You, Escalate Blood 2 stage?" Chapter 249, F *CK. This is bad. Chapter 249, F *CK. This is bad. Escalate Blood 2 stage. You, Zhao Yiqian looked at Long Fei and started to laugh. Ha 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 ha. Next, many people from martial arts arena also started to laugh out loud. Ha ha ha. Who would believe that? Your Escalate Blood 2 stage. I'm still the true martial emperor. We picked up Monster Head S, and they even say they're from the Escalate Blood 2 stage. Do you think we're 3 years old? Do you believe what you say? What a joke. Isn't he the trash who only took the test when he passed the backdoor test using the Escalate Body 2 stage? Escalate Blood 2 stage. If it really was the Escalate Blood 2 stage, then there was no need for him to participate in these examinations at all. 16 years old, Escalate Blood 2 stage. If placed in any sect, it would be highly valued and nurtured. How could the Xian Yu sect let go of such a genius? Guanjin said slightly, "Brat, don't talk nonsense." Xiao Dai also whispered, "Along, don't talk nonsense." The big-sized man muttered, "Big brother Along, are you the Escalate Blood 2 stage?" Thin Monkey was startled for a moment, and then said, "That's impossible." Let alone others. Even Xiao Dai didn't believe it. Especially Xiao Dai. She was even at Escalate Body 2 stage the day before yesterday. How did she become a Escalate Blood 2 stage now? Long Fei can fly? Xiao Dai immediately said, "Along's brain isn't good. He is a cultivator of the Escalate Body 2 stage. Great clan elder, please do not lower yourself to him. He has always said the wrong things." Yi Changfeng laughed coldly and said, "So you're saying this great 7 rating monster and beasts was picked up by him?" Xiao Dai was stunned. At this time, Long Fei walked to the side of the martial arts arena's testing beast and placed his palm on it. The power of the Escalate Blood 2 stage on his body slightly moved. Buzz. The black stone's light exploded, releasing a blood-red light. Body refining was white light. Blood refinement was a red light. The black stone released a red light, which meant it was Escalated Blood stage. Then, 2 red lights appeared on top of the black stone, and the corresponding red lights were Escalate Blood 2 stage. This time, the entire arena suddenly quieted down. Even Yi Changfeng was stunned. The only one who was not shocked was Yi Yorong. Red light, Escalated Blood stage. 2 sections, 2nd rank. It's true. It's really an Escalate Blood 2 stage. How is this possible? Is the test for the black stone broken? Escalate Blood 2 stage. Is there really such a genius? Those people who had mocked Long Fei as a useless fool just now felt extremely uncomfortable looking at the light coming from the black stone as if it had been ruthlessly slapped by Long Fei. Zhao Yiqian was dumbstruck, his expression turning ugly. He hated Long Fei to the extreme in his heart. The great 7 rating monster and beasts fiercely slapped him with 10,000 points. This time, the Escalate Blood 2 stage slapped his face again. The dignified 7th prince had supreme authority, yet he had been continuously slapped in the face. He felt extremely unhappy in his heart, and his teeth were grinding until they cracked. Yi Changfeng naturally felt the anger in his heart, and the expression in his eyes darkened as he stared at Long Fei. Long Fei slowly walked back and asked while looking at Yi Changfeng, "What do you mean?" "My Escalate Blood 2 stage is nothing. Then what is his body refining 8th level trash something?" Those people who laughed at me just now were all at the refinement realm. So who do you think you are? Mocking me? Are you qualified? Pa, pa, pa. Yi Zichen slapped him hard. This wasn't a slap to the face. This was a kick to the face. Too fierce. Those people who had mocked Long Fei didn't even dare to raise their heads. The body refinement realm had the right to ridicule others? Yi Changfeng's eyes turned cold, and he shouted, "This is the Xianyu sect. Don't be too presumptuous." Long Fei retracted his gaze and looked at Yi Changfeng. Why can Zhao Yiqian be so impudent, and I can't? Could it be that you've received benefits from him? Or is it because he has the identity of a prince? Great clan elder, you said it too. This is the Xianyu sect. No sect is under the jurisdiction of the government. You said that you wouldn't do it, but why did you choose? Before he could even finish the word be a dog, Gui Qingshan suddenly shouted, "Enough!" It also interrupted Long Fei in an instant. How could Yi Changfeng not understand? This was blatantly insulting him. His eyes revealed a cold and gloomy look as he coldly said, "Kid, you're tired of living." Gui Qingshan walked over with large strides, covered his entire body, and said indifferently, "Great elder, don't be angry. This guy's brain isn't too good. He always likes to speak nonsense. I will teach him a good lesson." Seeing that his father had rushed over, Xiao Dai was slightly relieved. He said in a low voice, "Father, they are bullying along." Gui Qingshan laughed and said, "Great clan elder, since your master has so much, don't lower yourself to the same level as him." Yi Changfeng had the intention to kill. Long Fei could feel it, but he was not afraid. Gui Qingshan could feel his killing intent immediately retract. Yi Changfeng knew in his heart. Even not taking down Gui Qingshan meant that Gui Qingshan's cultivation was unfathomable, and if he were to make a move, he would not be able to obtain any benefits. Yi Changfeng shouted coldly, "The person you brought back cheated. This exam result is 0. This kind of person with bad character is not qualified to enter Xianyu sect." Cheating again? Long Fei was displeased and said, "Do you have any evidence to prove that I cheated? If not, please shut up." Xiao Dai also said, "On what basis do you say we cheated? Why didn't you say that Zhao Yiqian had cheated? So many people saw that he did not even kill a single demon beast, and only cheated because the people around him helped him kill them." At this time, the big bloke was not convinced. He immediately took out a 4-rating monster and beasts from the spatial wooden signboard. Boom! Immediately after, another 4-rating monster and beasts was taken out. Thin Monkey was the same. The young couple also continuously took out Demon Beast S from the space ring. Xiao Dai even took out the head of a 5-level monster from the group of space ring. Yi Changfeng's face darkened. Long Fei laughed. 2,000 points is nothing. You still want to get first? Was it fixed? TCH. Zhao Yiqian roared. "All of you are cheating. Arrest them all." He had to get the ancient moon volume. Who would have thought that each of them would have higher points than him? This made him even more infuriated. Yi Changfeng said, "Your group cheated?" Gui Qingshan slightly said, "Great clan elder. Everyone needs to talk about evidence, right? I also won't say that the 7th prince cheated, but if you're going to say that they cheated, then you have to give me proof." Yi Changfeng bellowed, "Evidence? Gui Qingshan, let me ask you, how does the cultivation of the Escalate Blood 2-stage hunt great 7-rating monster and beasts? If this isn't cheating, then what is it? You said you want evidence. Then what evidence do you have to prove that they hunted the demon beast themselves? Who can prove it?" Gui Qingshan was slightly taken aback. Indeed, the Escalate Blood 2-stage killing 7-rating monster and beasts, this was simply a fantasy, impossible thing. At this moment, I can prove it. Long Fei looked towards the direction of the voice, and his heart went cold. Damn, this is bad. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2250, Winning the First Place. Chapter 2250, Winning the First Place. Who was the speaker? It was the woman who made Long Fei's hands itch, and even put up the condition of touching his chest. Yi Yorong. The eye of insight could see through Yi Yorong's body very clearly. It even knew that there was a mole under his armpit. Moreover, Long Fei also knew her secret, that there was a sword wound on her abdomen. None of this is the point. The key thing was that she had tried to kill Long Fei before. Furthermore, she had seen with her own eyes that these demon beasts were not killed by him, but by the Transformers. This way. Long Fei muttered in his heart, I never thought that. This is bad. This woman will definitely beat me to death. I am fine. I hope she will not implicate Xiao Dai. Yi Yorong slowly walked out, his eyes looking at Long Fei, a faint smile on his lips. Long Fei became even more anxious. If I had known earlier, I would have used the Universal Soul to kill him. Sigh. Without waiting for Yi Yorong to come up, Long Fei took the lead and said, I don't know her, and she can't prove me. Humph, Yi Changfeng coldly snorted, and said, How could someone with such an identity as you recognize her? Xiao Dai's gaze tensed up. Gui Qingshan's expression also secretly tensed up. What was Yi Yorong doing standing up at this moment? Moreover, she also used the Ancient Moon volume as the reward. So what? Yi Yorong walked in front of him and said indifferently, You don't recognize me? Long Fei said, I don't. I've never seen it. How could I know it? Yi Yorong said, I will go and meet you, and I see everything that has happened in the Xianbei mountain. Long Fei's eyes darkened. Damn it! Zhao Yiqian got proud and said, Sister-in-law, this brat is cheating, crippling both his hands and feet, throwing him down the mountain. Yi Yorong was now the princess consort. Zhao Yiqian calling her sister-in-law was a very normal thing, of course. He did not know what had happened in the imperial palace. Yi Yorong did not look at Zhao Yiqian and said, According to the sect's rules, those who cheat are not allowed to step half a step into the Xianyu sect. As she spoke, she looked at Long Fei with interest and asked, Did you cheat? Yi Changfeng said, Is there even a need to look? Even if he is an Escalate Blood 2-stage practitioner, he cannot possibly be a match for great 7-rating monster and beasts. So it is clear that he is cheating. Exactly. Do you even need to think about it? This kid must be cheating. This kind of person with a dishonest character is not qualified to enter the Xianyu sect. Hurry down the mountain. Get out of Xianyu sect. Many people agreed. Yi Yorong smiled faintly as she looked at Long Fei. She did not say a word, but looked at him with such a playful expression. Long Fei was a little scared in his heart. He directly asked, Tell me, what are you planning to do? How regretful. If she had known earlier, she would have attacked her chest. Yi Yorong still did not speak. Yi Changfeng laughed disdainfully. Brat, you admit it. Your result is... Just as he was about to fail in selecting Long Fei, the plaza immediately quietened down. Everyone looked at Yi Changfeng, and Zhao Yiqian laughed complacently with his mouth wide open. Suddenly, Yi Yorong interrupted. I can prove that he did not cheat. Huh. Yi Changfeng swallowed his words and almost got stuck. He looked at Yi Yorong in a daze and asked, What? Everyone was shocked. The transformation happened too fast. There was no time to react at all. Long Fei was the same as well, thinking that he had misheard something. Zhao Yiqian was even more shocked and asked, What thing? Yi Yorong said blandly once again, I prove that he did not cheat. I personally witnessed him hunting these demon beasts, but at that time, 2 of them were fighting for power while the other one fled in a sorry state. He seized the opportunity to kill the other one. So, his results are normal. Finished. Yurong looked at Guanjun and said slightly, "Announce your results." Following that, Yurong then walked back to the hall, and when she entered the hall, she turned and smiled at Long Fei. Long Fei felt a chill in his heart. This smile made people shiver. Furthermore, Long Fei felt that she was helping him and wanted him to stay in the Xianyu sect. She had plenty of opportunities to deal with him. He felt as if he wouldn't be able to escape Five Fingers Mountain. Holy *T. Who is this woman? He didn't cheat just because he said so. Exactly. I refuse to accept this. Everyone began to discuss. But Yi Changfeng did not say a word. The elders of the Xianyu sect and the disciples also did not speak anymore because they knew Yurong's identity very well. This was clearly protecting Long Fei. Yi Changfeng suddenly understood why Yurong would agree to use the Ancient Moon volume as a reward. They had already known that Zhao Yiqian would not be able to get first place. Yi Changfeng looked deeply at Long Fei and said in his heart, "What exactly is this kid's identity?" Guanjun coughed and announced loudly, "Along 10,000 points." "Yay! Ha ha ha! Big Brother Along is powerful. Big Brother Along is domineering. Ha ha ha! We are the most awesome." 10,000 points, instantly breaking the record. 2,000 points is nothing. Ha ha ha! Xiao Dai and the others were excited. Zhao Yiqian was displeased and said, "Yi Changfeng, what do you mean?" He was instantly enraged. Yi Changfeng's direct call of his name made him extremely unhappy, and without explaining anything, he walked towards the great hall with large strides. Zhao Yiqian shouted, "Yi Changfeng, do you F***King want to die? F***CK. What a bunch of bullshit. Miao Chong, kill them all." Zhao Yiqian immediately issued a killing order. He had never been humiliated like this before. Miao Chong landed beside the seventh prince and said, "Your Highness, calm your anger. It's best if you don't take action at this time." Seventh prince's eyes widened. "Now, your father has been humiliated. Are you telling your father to calm down? Breath your mother." He did not care too much and slapped Miao Chong across the cheek. Miao Chong could hide, but he did not hide. Pa! A resounding slap on the face. Zhao Yiqian was also shocked. He never thought that powerhouse, who was ranked third on the elixir ranking, would actually not avoid his palm. One must know that these powerhouses on the elixir ranking were all unruly and untamed. If it wasn't because of the Zhao family's strong emperor's qi, there wouldn't be many cultivators that would listen to them. To not dodge this slap, Zhao Yiqian was a little stunned, his heart turning cold. At the same time, he was greatly satisfied with Miao Chong's loyalty, and with a wave of his sleeves, he said with a deep voice, "Let's go." Miao Chong said, "As you command." She looked at Gui Qingshan with the corner of her eyes. Gui Qingshan's eyes moved slightly. If Miao Chong were to avoid this slap, it was very likely that something would happen. Not now. First place in the assessment. Along. Come up on stage to receive your reward. Chapter 2251. Yurong, milk big. Chapter 2251. Yurong, milk big. On a desolate hillside, in a simple and crude house, the Ancient Moon volume was placed on the table. Long Fei and the rest stood around, staring at the Ancient Moon volume. The scroll was laid out horizontally, and on it were carvings of all sorts of tadpoles, just like a wordless gobbledygook. What's written on it? After a long time, Xiao Dai finally could not resist asking. Long Fei shook his head and said, "I don't know." Xiao Dai said, "Didn't you say it was a good thing? I thought you could read it." Comprehension? The words on it were all small tadpoles, and most of them were similar in shape. Only a lunatic would be able to understand them. However, Long Fei looked through the scrolls that were shining with a golden light. He was sure that they were not ordinary, but how did he comprehend it? Long Fei was also completely baffled. Thin Monkey laughed heartily. First place was once the most precious treasure that protected Xian, Yusec's sect. Don't you think that our actions are very cool? The big guy also could not help but say, putting on a show? Xiao Dai rolled his eyes at them and said, this ancient scroll has been in the Xian Yu sect for over 1,000 years, and no one has been able to decipher the words on it. She knew about the ancient moon volume, which was why she was acting this way. To her, it was not even comparable to a piece of firewood. Long Fei asked, did it really come from the ancient secret world? Gue Qingshan, who had been squatting in front of the door smoking, said, Ancestral Master Xian, you brought him out from the primordial secret world. However, Grand Master Xian, you was also severely injured, and while he was at it, he held onto this ancient scroll tightly. What was hidden on this scroll? Countless geniuses. Even the powerhouse cannot comprehend them. Long Fei trembled slightly. Where is the ancient secret world? Gue Qingshan said, then we will have to ask Ancestor Xian Yu. This kind of secret world can only be found and not sought after, no one knows. And then Gue Qingshan said slightly, you should still focus more on how to break through. Saying that, he began to smoke without saying anything. Speaking about cultivation, Xiao Dai immediately looked towards Long Fei and said, Along, how did you break through the Escalate Blood 2 stage? It's only been 2 days. How the hell do you cultivate it? Breaking through to the 10th level in 2 days, even this peerless genius can't do it. Xiao Dai was extremely curious. Ordinary people wouldn't even be able to understand it. There had never been such a genius in the history of the Zhenwu continent. Long Fei scratched his head and said, I don't know either. I just randomly broke through. I don't know what's going on either. Game system. Killing people and monsters will give you experience. As long as demon beasts were killed, Long Fei's leveling speed could be faster. However, the fact that he had a game system in his body was something that even his own father wouldn't tell him. This secret couldn't be discovered by another person. Thin Monkey, the big-sized few people were dumbfounded. 2 days in the 10th level. This was practically flying. Brother Long, you'll be my boss from now on. I'll follow you. Yes, you're my boss too. I'm going with you. With you protecting us, wouldn't we be able to survive? Ha ha ha. The few of them became excited. Long Fei said, I'll try my best. I'll try my best. Xiao Dai said slightly, I'm afraid that after offending the 7th prince and embarrassing Great Elder Yi Changfeng, it will be very difficult for us in the Xian Yu sect in the future. Indeed, Zhao Yiqian represented the Zhao dynasty, wasn't offending the royal family equivalent to courting death. Furthermore, Yi Changfeng, who had the highest authority in the Xian Yu sect and was also an elder of the Pill Pavilion, they would probably not have a single pellet for future cultivation. Just these 2 were enough for them. Everyone fell silent. Offending 2 bosses. Would he have a good life in the future? There was a long silence. Long Fei said naively, whatever, it has already happened. We have also entered the Xian Yu sect, and our fates have changed. As long as we work hard, we will definitely reap rewards. Thin Monkey replied, there's still boss. What's there to be afraid of? The big guy followed. We'll follow boss. That's right. No matter what. Long Fei would never lower his head to anyone. Whether it was in game or in real life, Long Fei was never a coward. If he was really forced into a corner, he really would do anything. Suddenly, Xiao Dai suddenly exclaimed, I understand. Long Fei was shocked. Xiao Dai looked at Long Fei seriously and said, Along, Did my punch open your governing bloodlines? This will allow your cultivation to soar, and even you won't be able to discover it yourself. Long Fei. Gui Qingshan. The big-sized man said straightforwardly. Sister Xiao Dai, then give me a punch too. Long Fei. How stupid was that? Long Fei said. Stop messing around, sis. Let me ask you, who is that woman who testified for me? Yi Changfeng seems to be a little afraid of her. Many of the elders were in awe. Moreover, what she said was an order, and no one objected to it. Xiao Dai said, Sister Yurong, is Xian Yusek's young sect master, Uncle Yi's only daughter. Also, the crown prince has shared the points. However, I don't know why she came back half a month earlier than usual. Yurong. Long Fei asked in a daze. Xiao Dai said, Right, how is it? Pretty, isn't it? She is the #1 beauty of Zhaogua. She is Yurong? Wow, Zhao was #1 beauty. Not only that, she is also a super powerhouse who is ranked 2nd in the elixir realm. She is 20 years old and is ranked 2nd in the elixir. This is too awesome. Everyone was moved. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that she was the daughter of heaven. Xiao Dai said, her cultivation is not just at the elixir stage. She is a hidden expert. Hee. She was one of the few people who had truly seen Yurong's cultivation. Elixir stage? It was far more than that. If she was an elixir, she would not be able to withstand Zhao Wuji's sword. Gui Qingshan was also deep in thought. Why did he return half a month earlier? Because of the sex assessment? It doesn't seem like it, but could something have happened to the palace? His eyes went cold, and then, unknowingly, Gui Qingshan had suddenly disappeared, and no one noticed. Yurong, have, Long Fei muttered, and the naked image of Yurong appeared in his mind. Xiao Dai could not help but ask Long Fei when he saw him mumbling, Along, what are you mumbling about? Was he enchanted by the sister Yurong? If I were a man, I would be enchanted by her. However, she's going to marry the first prince. She doesn't like the first prince at all. Long Fei was still muttering to himself. It seemed it was as if he hadn't heard what Xiao Dai had said. Yurong. Long Fei's eyes flashed with a gold light and said, I've thought of it. You're big. Milk. Big. It's really very big. This name is too piercing. In another place, within a luxurious little courtyard, a choo-choo. Who's talking about me? Yurong sneezed continuously and said angrily. Chapter 2252. The Appearance of the Ming Clan. Chapter 2252. The Appearance of the Ming Clan. Miss Elder E requests an audience. A servant girl entered the courtyard. Yurong waved his hands. I won't. The servant girl left. Not long after, Yi Changfeng still walked in with large strides. The servant girl hurriedly followed behind him and said, Miss, Yurong said, you may leave. After the servant girl left, Yi Changfeng immediately asked, why did you testify for him? Yurong smiled faintly and said, why can't I testify for him? Yi Changfeng was startled, then said with a low voice, do you know your current identity? Or, do you know why the Zhao family chose you and not anyone else? Yurong raised his eyes and sneered. Thanks a lot, Uncle Yin. Yi Changfeng's eyes narrowed. His expression changed slightly as he asked, what do you mean? Yurong said, are you not clear about what I mean? If not for you wanting to be Zhao's state grandmaster, how could I have been chosen as the crown prince's wife? Of course. This can't all be your fault. You just built a bridge, and the Zhao family also took advantage of the situation. Yi Changfeng did not understand again, and said, could it be that the Zhao family has another goal? Yurong laughed. You have become smarter? Yi Changfeng asked. What is your goal? Yi Yorong said, even if I knew, I still wouldn't tell you. You should hurry up and pacify your seventh prince. Whether or not you can become a teacher, the seventh prince is very important. Yi Changfeng's face became even more unsightly and said solemnly, I don't care how much you mess around, but you must clearly remember one thing. Your current identity is the princess consort, not the crazy girl from before who did whatever she wanted. Offending the Zhao family, you can't afford the consequences. Humph! Yi Changfeng let out a heavy snort, flung his sleeves, and left. Yi Yorong wore a cold smile on his face. Crown Princess! The Zhao family can't afford to offend him. I have already offended you, and even the crown prince was given to me. After saying all that, Yi Yorong's face changed. A sharp pain came from his abdomen and covered his entire body. His face suddenly turned pale, and then he started to tremble uncontrollably. Puchi! A mouthful of black blood was spat out from his mouth. A stream of blood fell into the small pond in the courtyard. A few carp inside struggled for a bit before the belly of the carp appeared. They were dead. The blood contains deadly poison. Yi Yorong's face was also extremely ugly. As he glanced at the hand that was clutching his abdomen, a trickle of blood seeped out. The wound tore again. Zhao Wuji's everlasting burning sword was extremely vicious. Yi Yorong was almost unable to suppress the injuries in his body. Huff! Yi Yorong let out a light breath and said in a low voice, I have to hurry up. Elder Ming. As soon as he finished, an old man in a black robe appeared out of nowhere. Under the black robe, there was a very strange mark on his forehead. If he saw it himself, it would be the Ming clan's mark. However, no one could recognize this imprint. The Ming clan had disappeared for too long, and after so long, no one remembered that the number one clan in the ancient world was also the clan that was once the first ancient inheritance holder. The elder bowed slightly and said, Miss, Yi Yorong said, send someone to stop the seventh prince without my order. He is not allowed to take even half a step out of Xianyu sect. Elder Ming nodded. Yes. Then it disappeared. The speed was extremely strange. Passing the test on the second day. I'm going to report to the Marshall Hall today. I heard that today we'll be able to obtain the clothes of an official disciple. And there's even a monthly rule. I heard that it's a grade 1 body tempering pill. Thin Monkey said excitedly. Spirit pills. In the past, they didn't even dare to think about it. Spirit pills were too precious, not to mention taking them. He had never even seen one before. The big guy was also overjoyed. Then let's hurry up. Thin Monkey laughed. What's the rush? Our results are all top few. Maybe we will even get some special rewards. If we can get a few more Spirit Dawn, that would be great. According to the past practice, disciples who placed in the top 10 would receive some special rewards. They were all important people to nurture. Long Fei cut a huge bundle of grass and placed it in front of the cow stall, then patted it and said, It's delicious. Ever since Green Ox had learned to talk, Long Fei had basically been responsible for his grass. When Xiao Dai saw Long Fei, he immediately said, Along, let's go to the Marshall Hall to report together. Today, we are official disciples of the Xianyu sect. I can receive a lot of things. And your own house. Long Fei was also happy. Then let's go. Marshall Hall, 1,000 new disciples had entered. It was extremely lively. It's finally time for you to become an official disciple. I will definitely go all out. I'm about to break through now. If you give me a body refinement pellet, I'll be able to break through in an instant. Many disciples were waiting. Today was a big day for them. Not long after, The distribution window for the new disciples opened. Everyone queued up in succession. Look, they've started. Boss, I'll go queue up first. Thin Monkey and the big-sized man quickly ran up. Looking at this scene, Long Fei thought in his heart, just like the first day of school, this is truly a spectacular scene. Big brother along. From now on, we are fellow sect senior brother S. We need to take care of you more. Senior brother along, please take care of little sister in the future. A little beauty flirted with Long Fei. Good morning, senior brother A Long. Senior brother along, you must help little sister in the future. Number 1 newbie, great 7 rating monster and beasts hunters. Long Fei was already a celebrity in Xianyu sect. The reason was very simple. The Escalate Blood 2 stages. Long Fei would definitely get the attention of the sect, and he might even become an elite disciple very quickly. Xiao Dai was a little jealous, as he said, Along, they are all demonists. You have to keep your distance from them. At this moment, Thin Monkey hurriedly ran back and said, Boss, something's wrong. Long Fei asked, What's going on? Thin Monkey replied, Our names are not here. At this moment, the big-sized man also ran back from the window and said, Boss, without our names, senior brother did not allow me to receive disciples' clothes. What is going on? Didn't we pass the examination? Long Fei's gaze tensed up. Ha ha ha. 7th Prince Zhao Yiqian laughed complacently. The clothes he was wearing was not the clothes an ordinary disciple wore, but the clothes only an elite disciple could wear. Moreover, the elixir in his hand was not one, but an entire bottle. Zhao Yiqian laughed disdainfully. So what if you're the first? I want to see who dares to take you in. Ha ha ha. Kid, you want to fight me? Fight with me? If you don't piss yourself, what right do you have to fight me? Ha ha ha. Long Fei's eyes darkened, anger burning within him. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2253, Kneeling, Crippling. Chapter 2253, Kneeling, Crippling. Long Fei's character would never allow anyone to be arrogant in front of him. Once, in a certain game, just because a player had acted so arrogantly in front of him once, and then he had followed and slyly killed him 18 times. His equipment shone brightly. His level had dropped by 5 levels, and in the end, he didn't even dare to drop any spring water. Did you F***king not slap your face enough yesterday? Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. He rushed forward and directly stood in front of Zhao Yiqian, his eyes gleaming with cold light. His aura instantly suppressed Zhao Yiqian. Zhao Yiqian's expression also changed. His body couldn't help but tremble as he asked, What are you trying to do? At this time, Zhao Yiqian's bodyguard immediately rushed over and shouted, Along, what are you planning to do? Do you know who he is? If you dare touch the 7th Prince, I'll kill you. Kid, you better be more tactful. The 8 guards surrounded Long Fei. Long Fei didn't even look at him. His eyes were still staring at Zhao Yiqian without moving, and he said coldly, Don't act cool in front of me, or else you'll die miserably. Understood. Finished. Without even looking at Zhao Yiqian, Long Fei walked over to the guards and shouted, Scram! The guard hesitated for half a second before stepping aside. Xiao Dai and the rest quickly followed him. The surrounding people were slightly startled. Zhao Yiqian clenched his fists tightly, letting out a cracking sound. You dog, if I can't kill you, your elder's surname is not Zhao. He was furious. Boss, you're too awesome. How scared is Zhao Yiqian by you? Ha ha ha. This is so enjoyable. Thin Monkey could not help but laugh. The big guy also followed. He is only at the 8th level of refinement. How can he fight with Big Boss Escalate Blood 2 stages cultivation level? And even said that he would fight with anything if not for Zhao Yiqian's birth. Who does he think he is? Exactly. The young couple agreed. Xiao Dai was a little worried. Was it Zhao Yiqian's fault for not giving us the clothes and spirit pellets? A few of them were shocked. They were now official disciples. If they didn't even give out clothes or basic cultivation pills, what would that be called? Long Fei was furious in his heart. He walked to the distribution window and immediately asked, "Why don't we have clothes?" The senior brother raised his eyes and looked at Long Fei coldly and asked, "What's your name?" Long Fei replied, "Along." The senior brother casually flipped through it and said, "Your name is not here." Long Fei said, "He clearly passed the examination already. Why is it that he doesn't have my name?" That senior brother said impatiently, "If there's nothing, there's nothing. How do I know why? Kid, move to the side. Don't get in my way." Did you hear that? A few people behind him sneered, offending the great clan elder, offending His Highness Seventh Prince, and you still want to stay in Xianyu sect? Who does he think he is? So what if he took first place? This world relies on strength, but identity is more important. What the hell is he? You overestimate yourself. Her voice was not loud, but Long Fei could hear her. Long Fei did not linger at the window, but walked to the other side of the door. Seeing Long Fei leaving, the senior brother S in the room started laughing. Him? It's nothing. So what if you have Escalate Blood 2 stage? Even if he is a powerhouse of the elixir realm, he would have to kneel if we ask him to lie down. Is the Escalate Blood 2 stage impressive? Your brain is useless. No matter how high your cultivation is, you're still trash. Just as their discussion was in full swing, bam! A loud sound echoed out. The door behind them was kicked down by a powerful force. Long Fei stood at the door, coldly looked at the four senior brother S in the room, and said, "I am nothing. And what are you people?" "I overestimate myself." "Then what are you two?" "I'm trash." "Then when you are stepped on by trash, what are you? Is this garbage?" Long Fei would never give in. He was even more unconvinced. If you have something to say, just say it. If you don't have a name, then you don't have a name. He won't do anything, but saying so many pieces of trash makes him unhappy. Who cares who your mother is? If he's unhappy, then many people will be even more unhappy. Seeing Long Fei standing at the door, one of the senior brothers shouted, "Along, what are you trying to do?" "You dog, where do you think this is?" "Trash." Before he could even finish the word, trash, Long Fei slipped, and with a whoosh, he landed in front of that person. Immediately after, a heavy slap landed on his face. "Pa, trash. Who's the trash?" Long Fei shouted heavily. That senior brother received a slap to the face, and his entire body nearly fell to the ground from Long Fei's slap. Moreover, without waiting for him to react, Long Fei grabbed his arm and ferociously retreated. Crack! The joint is fractured. Long Fei's right leg kicked out, causing him to kneel down, and asked, "Who is kneeling on the ground now?" With his joints broken, the disciple screamed out in pain. His entire body was covered in cold sweat, and his face was incomparably pale. No one expected Long Fei to dare do this from the very beginning. Is he crazy? When Xiao Dai and the others heard the scream, they immediately rushed in. Seeing one of the senior brother in the house had his arm broken by Long Fei and was kneeling on the ground while screaming miserably, Xiao Dai's heart skipped a beat and immediately went forward to grab hold of Long Fei, saying, "Along, don't act recklessly." Thin Monkey was also a little afraid, saying, "Boss, calm down." They were just new players without any backers. It was only the first day, but he had already beaten senior brother. How could he continue to do this in the future? 3 other senior brother S recovered from their shock, and one of them shouted, "You want a rebel? To dare to touch senior brother, I shall see you, you useless trash." The word trash came out of his mouth. At this moment, Long Fei raised his eyes, which flashed with red light. The senior brother's heart slightly trembled. Hua! Long Fei attacked. With one leg, he kicked it. The cultivation levels of the senior brother were only at the refinement realm. Long Fei of the Escalate Blood 2 stage could easily destroy them. However, this time, the other 3 senior brother S came over together, but the result was the same. Bam! Crack! Bang, bang, bang. After a few consecutive moves, all 3 senior brother S were crippled, their hands and legs broken, and they laid on the ground like dead dogs, screaming in pain. Furthermore, all of these things happened too fast. Xiao Dai was simply too late to stop them. Trash? Who's the F** King Trash now? For some reason, when Long Fei heard the word trash, he felt extremely unhappy. The 4 senior brother S screamed miserably. Brat, just you wait. You injured us. I want to see how you're going to continue staying in Xianyu sect. Prepare to be expelled. You will all be chased out of Xianyu sect. It was also at this time Guanzhen hurried over. Chapter 2254, Fairy from Heaven Swallowing Guanzhen. Chapter 2254, Fairy from Heaven Swallowing Guanzhen, still F** King Stubborn. Since your father has been expelled, I will cripple you first. Before the anger in Long Fei's heart could dissipate, he wanted to kick again, but this time he was stopped by Xiao Dai. Another kick, and that person would be crippled. It was also at this time Guanzhen had already reached the door, and seeing the mess in the room, the 4 disciples cried out in pain as they laid on the ground, their eyes wide open as they shouted out, "What happened?" The voice was deep. The imposing aura emanating from Long Fei's body was instantly crushed by the powerful aura. When Xiao Dai saw Guanzhen, he immediately said, "Uncle Guan, there's a misunderstanding here." Guanzhen, as a law enforcement elder, he was also supervising the martial hall. His authority was only second to the 3 elders. A disciple with a broken hand stood up with much difficulty, pointed at Long Fei, and said, "Clan elder, it was him who suddenly barged in and used his high cultivation to directly injure us. Elder, please seek justice for us." Immediately, several disciples kneeled down. "Elder, help us redress our grievances." They all began to cry. Guanzhen stared at Long Fei and said, "Is that so?" Long Fei did not deny and said, "I did." Guanzhen's eyes turned sinister, and he shouted, "Do you think this is your home? You can do whatever you want. Are there still any laws?" Huh. His voice was extremely heavy, and it was filled with a heavy pressure. S' mind was trembling, and all of the power in his body was resisting it unwaveringly. His body trembled nonstop, and his legs bent even more. However, Long Fei's body was like steel plate, standing firmly on the spot. He spoke with some difficulty. "Then why didn't you ask me why I beat them up?" Guanzhen looked at Long Fei and was secretly shocked in his heart. His pressure was the might of a first-stage elixir, but Long Fei was actually able to resist it. Hard bone, no matter how hard his bones were, they would at least soften him up here. In that instant, the aura on Guanzhen's body changed once again, and an even denser pressure pressured towards Long Fei, and said, "Do you still have reason to hit me?" Buzz. Long Fei's mind suddenly exploded. It was extremely uncomfortable. Long Fei was already giving it his all, clenching his fists tightly. He bellowed, "People like them are lacking in handling. If you dare be cocky in front of me again, I will still beat you up." How preposterous! Guanzhen's eyes were filled with anger. He remained as domineering as ever in front of him. What was this? This was not putting him, an elder, in their eyes at all. Where was the might of an elder? Guanzhen's anger rose with a move of his feet. If the pressure cannot crush you, then attack. Was no longer able to move due to the coercion. He was using all his strength to resist it. If Guanzhen attacked at this time, he would not have any chance to retaliate. This was the difference in levels. Long Fei was unhappy, extremely unhappy. For some reason, he hated it when people used their pressure to crush him. It was as if this displeasure was innate, as if such displeasure had happened many times before. Seeing Guanzhen taking a step forward, Long Fei's expression tensed up. The idea was holding on to the universal soul in the system space. He ate everything, but he did not suffer any losses. Even in front of the Emperor of Heaven, Long Fei was not afraid. Guanzhen raised it with a slap. Right at this moment, Gui Qingshan appeared like a ghost, and his voice slightly trembled. "Elder Guan, stop." There was a powerful force in his voice. At this moment, Long Fei's state of mind relaxed, and the pressure Guanzhen released instantly disappeared. The pressure loosened, and Long Fei's body regained his freedom. The anger in Long Fei's heart exploded as he said, "Suppression? This father will F***K, your entire family." The sky sword slightly moved. Buzz. The sound of the clashing of swords was ear-piercing. Long Fei leaped up. He directly broke through the roof. The rubble fell down. The new disciples outside were all stunned. "The roof has been punctured. Who is that person? Damn, what is that kid trying to do? Don't tell me. He was thrown out of the roof by Patriarch Guan. What are you doing?" At this time, Gui Qingshan's expression secretly changed. Long Fei's sword strike. He had seen it before in the Wild Boar Valley. Gui Qingshan was secretly shocked. Crap. Long Fei's eyes also turned sinister. He could feel a strong fighting intent from Long Fei as he broke through the rooftop in a single leap, and his heart was filled with unhappiness. A puny new disciple actually dared to attack an elder. "If I don't teach you a lesson today, I'm not Guanzhen." He was also angry. He was an elder, after all, the head of the law enforcement hall, the head of the martial hall. A new disciple daring to ride on his head. Then what about his prestige as the pavilion master? Guanzhen raised his eyes, stared at Long Fei, who was in midair, and spoke solemnly. "Trash the Escalate Blood 2-stage dares to be so presumptuous in front of me. You're courting death." Gui Qingshan quickly said, "Brother Guan, there must be a misunderstanding." Xiao Dai said anxiously, "Uncle Guan, they were the ones who bullied us first. That's why Long took action." Thin Monkey was so anxious that cold sweat broke out on his forehead. "Oh no, oh no, this time we're in trouble. Not only did we injure senior brother, we have to make a move on the elders. We are finished. We will definitely be expelled from the Xianyu sect." The big-sized man was slightly angry. "If you want to be expelled, then expel. If Xianyu sect really has such a sect, then I might as well go home and kill pigs." The young couple had complicated looks in their eyes. In the distance, halfway up the mountain, there was a pavilion. Yi Yurong looked in the direction of the training hall with interest. Looking at Long Fei, who had broken through the roof, she could not help but laugh. What kind of move is this? I really haven't seen it before. Flying into the sky? Do you think you're a bird man? And flying into the sky. Suddenly, Yurong's eyes changed drastically. Her gaze darkened as she stared straight at Long Fei. This sword move, Long Fei's body swooped down, and with the sky sword in hand, his figure continuously floated outwards, one after another. In just a short moment, he seemed to have sent dozens of figures flying. Moreover, each shadow had a different move. Under the sun, like a fairy dancing, it came from beyond the heavens. Yi Yurong was also a swordsman, but he was still a swordsman. He had never seen such a miraculous sword technique before, and was extremely shocked in his heart. He really does have many secrets. He. then it's even more impossible for you to escape from my grasp. Hee hee. Pressure crushed your father. Now let's see who dares to teach who a lesson. You old trash. Long Fei bellowed, his heart moving, sky outside, flying immortal. At this moment, Guanzhun was stunned because he was crushed by each and every one of the powerful sword intents. And when he watched Long Fei swoop down, this strike, he of the Golden Protector level, actually did not know how to resist. Chapter 2255, Expulsion from Xianyu Sect. Chapter 2255, Expulsion from Xianyu Sect, Fairy from Heaven, Duga City's ultimate move. This move was like an immortal descending from heaven. It was unstoppable. Moreover, the sword intent was astonishingly powerful. Last time in Wild Boar Valley, Buldrome was killed by this exact attack. Gui Qingshan had thought about it for a few days, but still couldn't think of a way to break it. When he saw Long Fei breaking through the rooftop with a single leap, his heart sank. Guanzhun was overwhelmed with shock. This sword strike, he did not know how to defend himself at all. His entire body was surrounded by the powerful sword intent. Sword intent. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Sword chime. The entire room was in chaos. Thin Monkey asked, "What is that sound?" Xiao Dai slightly said, "The voice of the sword, along." She raised her eyes to look at Long Fei, who was swooping down, and she was stunned. Ah. Guanzhun let out a furious roar. His aura had already become berserk and chaotic. His state of mind was being affected by the surrounding sword intents. He could not block this strike. Gui Qingshan frowned. If Guanzhun was injured by him, or if he was killed, then Long Fei and the rest would be expelled from Xianyu Sect, even if they did not die. No. Gui Qingshan's heart trembled. The potential that Long Fei had exploded forth was one that he had never seen before. He liked this brat more and more. Maybe Long Fei could help him. I can't let anything happen to him. Immediately, Gui Qingshan immediately said, "Xiao Dai, we cannot let Along do as he pleases." Xiao Dai recovered from the shock, saw Long Fei rushing down from the skies, and immediately rushed up, saying, "Along, don't mess around." At this moment, the qi on Gui Qingshan's body moved. The smoke and spear on his waist became a sword, rushing forward, his heart shouting out with joy. Wild sand sword technique. Break. Violent winds suddenly exploded from the smoke gun. It began to spin. The entire roof could not bear it any longer, groaning and trembling unceasingly as rubble was continuously sent flying out. Sand and rocks flew. It was hard to open one's eyes. Everyone was scared, silly. What a powerful sword intent. What kind of power is this? He's at least an expert of the elixir realm. He's too powerful. In the distance, Yorong was also secretly surprised. He muttered, "Uncle Gui's Desert Storm Sword art is even more profound, as expected of the Guardian of the Way family. But if it's just sword intent alone, the Desert Storm Sword technique is still inferior to that hooligan." In the blink of an eye, boom, the sword and the moves collided. The sword intention rampaged, clashed, and continued to shoot out. The sword chi from the surroundings of the house came out one after another, all because of the amazing sword intention. Gui Qingshan's body sunk down slightly. The spirit chi in his body continued to churn like raging waves striking at his mind and heart, his internal organs. If not for his cultivation being higher than Long Fei, he would have been heavily injured. Gui Qingshan's aura became heavy, his power started to surge, and his cultivation became even more powerful. Boom! A shock. After stabilizing himself, the pressure immediately rushed out and enveloped Long Fei, and said, "Along, calm down." The fairy from heaven was blocked. Long Fei was a little astonished. His body also dropped from the sky, but he was held up by one of Gui Qingshan's strength and did not fall. Long Fei looked at Gui Qingshan and said, "I'm very calm." While they were talking, Long Fei looked at Guanzhan and said, "He was the one who attacked me without asking questions. It's not right for me to injure your disciple, but why don't you ask the reason? Why don't we have the clothes of an official disciple? Why aren't we cultivating spiritual medicines?" Long Fei's heart was filled with anger. Even if the fairy from heaven was blocked, Long Fei was not afraid. He still had the power of the universal soul, and if he released it, he was sure that Gui Qingshan would not be able to stop it. Guanzhan's face turned sinister. Even though Gui Qingshan had helped him block Long Fei's sword moves, Long Fei's actions had completely disgraced him. However, Guanzhan glanced at them, then looked at the four shivering disciples and shouted, "What exactly happened? How could those four have thought of such a situation? Moreover, Long Fei, this madman, actually dared to attack even the clan elder, and the clan elder was barely holding on." A disciple stammered, unable to speak. Guanzhan walked forward to flip through the list of names, and when he saw the list of names, his expression darkened. The name of the list smashed ruthlessly onto the disciple's face, and he shouted angrily, "What's going on? Their names are clearly on the name list. Why do you say that they're not there?" A disciple suddenly knelt down and said, "Hall Master, we did not see it just now. We were blind. We were wrong." Next, the four of them knelt down. "You didn't see it?" Long Fei sneered and said, "From what I see, you guys didn't see it on purpose, right?" Guanzhan's expression changed, and he said, "There are too many names on the list, so not seeing them is also a very normal thing. You can ask them to look up again in more detail. But you, kick down the door and attack. Let's not talk about injuring them, but they still want to attack me." Long Fei said, "They asked for it." Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Gui Qingshan hurriedly said, "Brother Guan, it's all a misunderstanding. The anger of a young person is just too great. If you have too much, don't lower yourself to the level of a junior. That brat was a bit too rash just now. I brought him to apologize to you." Gui Qingshan said, "I'll definitely teach him a good lesson when we get back." Xiao Dai was a little puzzled. "Father, they were obviously the ones who bullied us first." Thin Monkey said, "That's right, they didn't even look at the name. They just said that we don't have a name." One of the disciples said, "We did not. We did not find anything. You were just overbearing. We did not say anything." Long Fei's eyes turned cold, and he said, "Seems like the fight just now wasn't heavy enough. How dare you?" With a loud shout, Yi Changfeng's eyes burned with fire at the entrance. Not far behind him, Zhao Yiqian was laughing complacently. Yi Changfeng looked at Guanzhan and said, "Beat senior brother up and attack the elders without reason. I see that you have other intentions to enter the Xianyu sect, and this person must be expelled from the Xianyu sect." Zhao Yiqian laughed proudly. "You overestimate yourself." Obviously, it was all his doing. Otherwise, the great elder of the Pill Pavilion wasn't in the Pill Pavilion, so why would he suddenly appear in the martial hall? Guanzhan was also shocked. No matter how foolish he was, he knew that he had been used. Gui Qingshan slightly said, "Great elder is a long wrong, or is it a grave mistake? This should be under the jurisdiction of the law enforcement hall, right?" Yi Changfeng sneered and said, "Gui Qingshan, when did it become your turn to speak?" "Huh." Yi Changfeng laughed disdainfully. Gui Qingshan didn't have any authority in the Xianyu sect. Even elite disciples didn't put him in their eyes, let alone the great elder. Moreover, Gui Qingshan offended Zhao Yiqian. Yi Changfeng looked at Gui Qingshan and said, "Gui Qingshan, you were the one who brought him to the Xianyu sect. Who exactly is he? Why did you take him up the mountain?" Do you want to explain? If you can't explain it clearly, then get out of Xianyu sect with me. With a cold voice, Yi Changfeng glared at him coldly. Thank you for your support. Chapter 256. Laozi has given you face, right? Chapter 256. Laozi has given you face, right? The matter regarding the assessment yesterday had caused Yi Changfeng to lose a lot of face. Not only was the seventh prince dissatisfied with him, he had also made him lose face in front of so many people. Although what happened this morning was arranged by the seventh prince, it was actually planned by him as well. He thought that Guanzhen's strength was enough to crush Long Fei. However, he did not expect that he would be unable to suppress it, and that's why he showed his face. Gui Qingshan blocking in front was the best. If both of them were to be expelled from Mystic Moon Mountain, then whatever they did would have nothing to do with Xianyu sect. They would absolutely not be able to leave the region of the southern county. Gui Qingshan's eyes darkened. Long Fei was not a soft persimmon. Even if his cultivation was not high now, he could not allow others to simply sit on his head and piss on his head, and directly scolded, "Who the hell do you think you are? What right do you have to tell us to leave?" If others displeased him, his method would be multiplied to displease others. The tone of his voice was the same. Yi Changfeng's eyes opened wide, and the pressure on his body trembled. Boom! It was as if the mountain had exploded, and a powerful pressure came crushing down. His cultivation could not be compared with Guanzhen. His aura was strong and ferocious. Long Fei was unable to resist. However, Long Fei was not afraid from the start. The idea moved, holding onto the universal soul in the system space, and thought in his heart, "Damn you, when your pressure falls will be when your life ends." F***CK. It really wasn't a joke. As long as Yi Changfeng's pressure fell, Long Fei would not hesitate to use the universal soul. He had never been the one to suffer a loss. Gui Qingshan's eyes moved slightly as he felt a strong pressure pressing down on him. His body moved slightly as he said, "Great clan elder, please calm your anger." His voice was calm. However, it was precisely because of this voice that Yi Changfeng's oppressive aura was immediately blocked. Yi Changfeng's expression slightly changed and said, "Calm down. This brat thinks highly of everyone. Who knows what he will do if he stays in the Xianyu sect? If I can't teach him a lesson today, then Yi Changfeng, will write the two words backwards. Anger." Yi Changfeng turned his right hand. One Dao seal after another fell into his hands. Gui Qingshan's face changed. Fang Tiandao seal? Guanzhen was also shocked. A low-rank, high-rank spiritual treasure. Fang Tiandao seal? Xiao Dai immediately approached Long Fei and said, "Along, be careful, this spiritual treasure is very savage." Fang Tiandao seal, the great treasure of the Xianyu sect. This was also Yi Changfeng's strongest spirit treasure. The Dao seal had a strong power to crush others. It was like a place with the heavens and earth tightly locking down. He couldn't move. A low-rank, high-soul treasure was unshakable. Being crushed by the Fang Tiandao seal, Long Fei was unable to move. Zhao Yiqian laughed. Laughing complacently, he said, "You dog trash, you want to fight me? Do you think you can beat me? Ha ha ha. Kill him. Kill him." Zhao Yiqian smiled widely. It was obvious that Yi Changfeng wanted to kill him. If not, he would not have summoned his most powerful spirit treasure. Earthly soul treasure? Long Fei was a little disdainful. He said, "You're showing off your trash." Long Fei was extremely disdainful. Spirit treasures were divided into 9 grades. Above them were earth-ranked, spirit-ranked, heaven-ranked, and divine-ranked. Tell the truth, really did not take the land-level treasure seriously. The lizard fiery berserk blade that he obtained from killing the colorful lizard last time was exchanged for by him. He did not leave anything behind at all, because he really did not have any interest in it. "You're courting death," Yi Changfeng roared, and the Fang Tiandao seal began to move. Long Fei growled, "Let's see who's courting death." The idea moved. The universal soul was ready to burst out at any time. But at this moment, a cold voice rang out. "Stop!" Yi Yurong's voice. Yi Changfeng's face sank, but at this moment, he didn't care that much. With a move of the Fang Tiandao seal, he smashed down heavily. It was too sudden. Long Fei thought that Yi Changfeng did not dare to move. To think that, his expression turned vicious. "Damn, this despicable old dog. Rainbow barrier." Buzz. Long Fei was not afraid. There was an additional shield on his body. Only then did the 7-colored shield burst out from the colorful lizard's body. It brought with it a rainbow-colored glow. This was a skill, but it had a longer cooldown. However, Long Fei did not know how strong its defense was, and was unsure in his heart. Merely having more than 1,000 HP on his HP bar was not safe, as his current level was too low after all. Yi Changfeng, at the peak of the elixir, was able to kill him in one move. Along, boss. Everything was too fast. Even Gui Qingshan couldn't react in time. Even a high-grade Earth Step Soul Treasure would not be able to block it so easily, much less at such a sudden moment. Yi Changfeng sneered in his heart. "Brat, go and die. Dao Seal Crush." He was not afraid of Yi Yurong, because his backer was the Zhao family, the current dynasty. Even if he killed Long Fei right in front of Yi Yurong, he wouldn't dare to do anything to him. However, boom, the Fang Tiandao seal smashed down. Long Fei stood where he was without moving. His body was wrapped up by a rainbow-colored shield, and the Fang Tiandao seal was actually unable to suppress him, and was floating on top of his head. It just couldn't break through the 7-colored barrier. Long Fei slightly raised his eyes, seeing that the Fang Tiandao seal could not suppress it. He immediately laughed out wildly. "Ha! Crushing your father? You want to kill me to keep my mouth shut? F***CK. Come on, come kill me. Ha ha!" The 7-colored barrier was something dropped by the great 7-rating monster and beasts. How could it be weak? Colorful Lizard was a super boss, a king-level existence among 7-rating monster and beasts S. How could it be weak? The land-level treasure was not qualified. Everyone was stunned, especially Yi Yurong, because she had seen Colorful Lizard before, so she knew what kind of demon beast it was. She also saw this kind of rainbow shield appear on the Colorful Lizard's body, but it actually appeared on Long Fei's body. How? How is this possible? Thin Monkey opened his mouth wide and became excited. "Wow, the boss is too handsome." The big bloke followed. Even the land-level treasure can block it. How mighty and domineering. Xiao Dai was also extremely shocked. He rubbed his eyes, thinking that his eyes had gone blurry. Gui Qingshan was extremely excited. If there were happy people, there would naturally be people who were unhappy. Zhao Yiqian immediately scolded. "Yi Changfeng, you can't even F*** king deal with a waste of escalate blood 2 stage. He's really a piece of trash." He was very unhappy with Yi Changfeng. However, although Yi Changfeng was an elixir, his main cultivation was in the alchemy. His attainments in the area of martial arts training were not deep, and he was unable to unleash his strongest power while wielding the Fang Tiandao seal. However, after all, he was a powerhouse of the elixir realm. The strongest spirit treasure that had been blocked by Long Fei had lost all its face, which also made the anger in Yi Changfeng's heart even more intense. Yi Yurong's figure moved. Long Fei smirked. Fuck, did I give you some face? The sky sword at his waist moved. Chapter 2257. The Power of Sky Sword. Chapter 2257. The Power of Sky Sword this time. I have to endure it. Again, I can't stand it. Since you don't want face, then just give it a good slap. Yi Changfeng felt extremely displeased when his power once again surged into the Fang Tiandao seal. Moreover, more importantly, the seven-colored barrier had a time limit. It was almost time. When the time came, the defenses disappeared, and the Fang Tiandao seal smashed down. Long Fei was afraid that he would die instantly. This wanted his life. How could he tolerate this? Long Fei squinted his eyes. His eyes became gloomy and cold. You really don't want face. Without waiting for Yi Yurong to get close, the sky sword in Long Fei's hand suddenly moved. At this moment, the seven-colored barrier was put away by Long Fei, and the sky sword pushed the barrier forward with her sword, shouting in her heart, "Break!" The rusty sky sword was lying on top of the Fang Tiandao seal. At this moment, the Fang Tiandao seal smashed down, and the two spirit treasures clashed. Yi Changfeng sneered. You are overestimating yourself. You want to compare a trash sword with my land-level treasure? Ha ha ha. You are just like this rotten sword. Are you worthy? Zhao Yiqian also laughed. How laughable. Truly ridiculous. A trash iron sword wants to block a low-rank soul treasure? Is he retarded, or is he courting death? Brat, prepare to die. On one side was an Earth-stage, high-rank spiritual treasure, an important treasure of the Xianyu sect. On one side was a rusted iron sword, not to mention the Earth stage. It wasn't even at the first rank. Just these two spirit treasures clashing? He didn't even need to think about the consequences. The iron sword would be crushed into powder and instantly vaporize. The competition of soul treasure was about its level. The higher the level, the stronger it would be. This is bad. Along is in danger. Xiao Dai started to worry. Thin Monkey was also worried. How can Iron Sword be a match for the land-level treasure? This is bad. If I can't block it with my steel sword, my boss will be in danger. The big bloke was also extremely worried. Yurong moved. She didn't want Long Fei to die, because Long Fei had many secrets. She had personally witnessed Long Fei giving pills to the chimp, and the ape becoming level 9 from level 7. Just this spirit pill could not let Long Fei die. Similarly, Gui Qingshan also moved. He could not let Long Fei die either, because he saw hope in Long Fei. At this moment, Gui Qingshan's powerful aura slightly moved, and everything shot out. Yi Changfeng laughed coldly and said, "No one can save him. Arrogant in front of me, he is courting death." Yi Changfeng shouted heavily. In this situation, Long Fei was definitely going to die. No one could stop it. The Fang Tiandao seal would definitely suppress Long Fei into a pile of meat paste. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Yi Changfeng and Zhao Yiqian could not help but laugh out loud. While they were laughing with pride, the two soul treasures clashed against each other. At the same time, a crisp, crackling sound rang out. Kacha! The sound of a stone cracking was heard. Yi Changfeng looked over in the blink of an eye and said complacently, "A mere iron sword dares to shake my Fang Tiandao seal, and Star's Pet Chain Supermarket even dares to compete with Hao Yue." However, suddenly, his expression froze, and he looked like a retard. What was cracking was not Long Fei's iron sword, but his Fang Tiandao seal. The moment he touched it, his Fang Tiandao seal was like a ceramic pot. Instantly. Furthermore, the moment it broke, it quickly turned into powder. Crack. Buzz. The entire Fang Tiandao seal ruptured. It shattered into dozens of pieces. and the power within the Feng Tiandao seal seemed to be unable to withstand some kind of powerful energy and was directly scattered outwards. A dozen or so fragments of Dao seals were floating in the air. Everyone was dumbfounded. They were all shocked. It was like looking at a monster. At this moment, the sky sword suddenly moved. Shwa! A charge! As he flew through the air, the dozen or so floating fragments of the Feng Tiandao seal instantly turned into dust and disappeared into the air. The sky sword also fell from the sky. Clang! Falling beside Long Fei, Long Fei picked up the sky sword and patted off the dust on it. It was still stained with rust and also had no rank, but it was strong. Long Fei hung it on his waist and stared straight at Yi Changfeng, giving a thing that doesn't care about face. Isn't that great? Incomparable dominance. There was not a single sound that could be heard in the entire room. They were all stupefied by the shocking scene that just occurred. The Feng Tiandao seal was shattered by a rotten sword. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, who would have believed it? This. How is that possible? My eyes must be blurry. Impossible. That's absolutely impossible. That's a great treasure of the Xianyu sect. That's a Feng Tiandao seal that has been passed down for hundreds of years. Why can't it be compared to a broken sword? Holy *T, what's going on? They all stood there in a daze and muttered to themselves. It was too shocking. Yurong stared at the rusted sword on Long Fei's waist. He could not find any clues. It was just an ordinary metal sword. Gue Qingshan kept staring at the iron sword, but he could not find any clues. What kind of sword was this? Or could it be? Long Fei hid himself too deeply. The spirit treasure's impact just now was actually caused by him using some kind of powerful force to be able to destroy the land-level treasure. How strong was that power? Then, Gue Qingshan rejected it immediately. It definitely could not be power. His eyes could not help but look at Yurong. At the same time, Yurong was also looking at Gue Qingshan. The two of them suspected that the other had helped Long Fei. If not, it would be impossible. And at this time, Yi Changfeng reacted, his eyes suddenly bulging out, his hair falling apart. His entire person was instantly enraged to the point of insanity as he roared, return my Feng Tiandao seal. I will kill you. The Feng Tiandao seal was his strongest spirit treasure, and also something that he could protect himself with. But now, it turned into powder. How could he not be angry? Smoke rose from the top of his head. His face was red, as though he was a demon beast in a berserk state. His entire body pounced towards Long Fei, without a care in the world. I'm going to kill you. At this moment, Yurong stood beside Long Fei, and the aura on his body trembled. Yi Changfeng, have you messed around enough? Buzz. An icy pressure came crushing down. Yi Changfeng was instantly crushed. His face was pale white, and his body could not move at all. This pressure, a fierce battle. Long Fei turned to look at Yurong and was inwardly shocked. Not only was his cultivation base huge, his cultivation base was extremely tyrannical. As well, I have to be careful in the future. He really did not expect that Yurong's cultivation would be so terrifying. Yi Changfeng, who had cultivated for 60 or 70 years, was instantly crushed. Yurong was only 20 years old, so his cultivation could no longer be described as terrifying anymore. Rather, savage. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.